WIBX 950. WIBX 950. WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Started with a bit of a stunner here this morning. Okay, well, listen, we received the word we're all worried about yesterday, right? With the Titanic, or the Titan, that was in search of the wreckage of the Titanic. And so I'll go over what we've learned overnight. It's really, there's some new things. Kind of new, I guess, but not good. Did not end well, and it seems like it was just a very quick ending. Is what they're saying this morning on the program. A ton to get to. Willie Waffle coming up later on in the hour. We'll talk to Tanya J. Powers, on just that very implosion is what they're saying occurred to that vessel. Mike Gentile is the Utica Republican chair. He's on today. He's talking about not only the political landscape that exists here with the upcoming primaries, but he's even going into Manaski
baseball,
Little League, little baseball. Also, you mentioned this Roman Kimball, who's we talked to last year. When wasn't he in the World Series last year, the college baseball World Series?
Yes, he was pitching for Notre Dame, and
almost this year became only the second ever to pitch in. Am I even on the air? It might not be. Through all of this, it might not even have been on the air.
I had you in my headphones. Are we in program or audition?
Headphones are in audition, so my guess is that this board is not set up right. Well, you've heard nothing of what I guess I just said. We've had some technical difficulties here this morning, but it is what it is. You could hear me, though, couldn't you, Tony?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
You could. They couldn't, though. I'm pretty sure.
Good morning.
Tony wanted to be the first caller of the day this morning, and here he is. What did you want to do? You want to give an impression. Go ahead.
Oh, I want to do my impression of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
That's actually pretty good.
Play the Sailorman.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I guess it's okay.
All right. You're the first of the day, man. We appreciate it. Thank you.
I want to try to, if you could help me, I don't know if there's anybody listening out there that can help me with this idea.
All right. What do you have?
It sounds a little silly. I want to create my own television network of all commercials. Nothing but old nostalgic commercials. It's been like 70 years of nothing but commercials.
Well, listen, you totally could do that online.
People like nostalgia, so I figure, hey, why not?
I think that's a nice idea. I think that you probably could pull that off online. But if there's anybody out there, they'll reach out.
Like a YouTube kind of an idea.
Right. We'll reach out. They'll reach out to us, and then we'll pass them on to you if anybody out there wants to join you in the endeavor.
Does Spencer's Gifts still exist?
Does what?
Spencer's. Remember Spencer's?
I believe it does.
Yes, I believe they still have a shop in the mall in Sangertown.
Okay.
Not only, so you have, Tony, your first caller, and the first random question of the day.
Yes.
Does Spencer's still exist? All right, I'm letting you go, Tony. You have a wonderful day. Thank you, man.
Yes, you too. And have a great weekend.
All right, you do the same. We have a long way to get to there, though. I have 3 hours of this to do.
So the impressions were good, and yeah, I didn't know where he asked about Spencer's, and I thought to myself, okay, yes. And then that was it. I thought it was for a reason.
What you probably did not hear, I'm afraid, although you may have on YouTube if you're listening on YouTube. Here's where we're talking about the implosion of the Titan, which is what it was called, and this just really ended horribly. The Navy, Coast Guard, they found debris on the floor, the ocean floor, about 1,600 feet or something away from the actual Titanic wreckage. But here's what we learned a little bit of. Number one, and I'll play a little bit of audio that I have. There were many people that would not go down in this craft because they felt it was not safe and it was not tested. James Cameron is one of them, the director of the movie Titanic, who's also a deep diving, a deep sea submersible expert or enthusiast. I'm not sure which you'd call it. Either way, he was very critical. Even at a time where it was kind of tough to be critical, but just said this didn't have to happen. It's believed I've only seen this in one case during a press conference. It's believed that, and it's not there, I don't see it written all over the place. It's believed that the submersible was making its way up when the explosion or implosion occurred. So what it is believed, and this is what Cameron was saying, is that it was coming down as it was supposed to, and there's an alarm on the on that vessel. If there was any, for the lack of a better word, any crack, a hairline crack, anything that would warn them that it seemed like the infrastructure was losing its strength. And he said it's likely that an alarm went off, and the Coast Guard said that it seems, based on the tracking that was being occurred by the company, that they were going back up. So you're thinking that all of a sudden you're going down, everything's good, then an alarm goes off. And you're like, oops, we're going up, we got to go up. And as they began moving up, that's when the implosion occurred. And the Navy said they actually, right at the time that they lost their communications with their home base, right at that very time, they were able to come up with what sounded like something that would be consistent with an implosion, an explosion sound or implosion sound. And then one more, they said that the amount of pressure that would be on that vessel going down would be equivalent to taking the Empire State Building and putting it on top of this vessel, and this vessel actually handling the entire weight of the Empire State Building if the Empire State Building were made completely of lead. So think about that. That's the pressure that was on this. Now, the reason Cameron says this didn't have to happen is because we've done trips like this several. Even this vessel has, but they're thinking that 5th time, 8th time, 12th time, it was causing a wear and tear to the point where it was using materials that others don't use, that the Navy will not use when it comes to submarines. Wow. And they just felt that there was some vulnerability there, and sure enough, that's how it ended. Here is some audio. This is James Cameron comparing the Titan implosion to the Titanic sinking. And it'll play now.
I'm struck by the similarity of the Titanic disaster itself, where the captain was repeatedly warned about ice ahead of his ship, and yet he steamed at full speed into an ice field on a moonless night, and many people died as a result. And for a very similar tragedy where warnings went unheeded to take place at the same exact site, I think is just astonishing. It's really quite surreal.
I'm really wondering how much criticism he received yesterday for going there so early.
Yes. So
because this is right after I watched this on TV. This was right after the so this is probably about 4:30, 5 o'clock. The Coast Guard made the announcement at 3 o'clock.
I was just going to say, is it too soon? And with my comments that I was going to make, you see this in unrelated to the Titanic in the Bermuda Triangle, that there's been a number of accidents, whether they be plane accidents or boat-related disasters that have happened in the Triangle. And then every time something else happens, there's this growing lore, right? This, oh my gosh, it's so dangerous, and people want to investigate it and check it out. I would almost say this probably, and again, I hate to be bringing this up so soon after the fact, but he kind of opened the can here. This is going to be like, oh, now there's been 2 disasters at the same location, and I think it's going to make more people want to go down and explore that.
Well, and there are safe ways to do it. In fact, Cameron was talking about how some of his deep-sea diving submersibles, using submersibles, how he has gone to a depth 3 times the depth of the Titanic. So there are, but he said these are submersibles that are made of titanium, made of steel. Not a combination of products. And I don't know anything about it, so as I describe it, I'm sure I'll be describing it incorrectly. But with all of that said, it's something that really didn't have to happen, which is a shame. But I think you're right. People are going to want to get down there. And that wreckage is only going to be there for so long. Although, when you think about it, it's been there for a long, long time.
Yeah.
CEO and co-founder of OceanGate, the company that built the submarine that imploded, once said he liked to break rules. Here's the clip that's been gaining a lot of popularity of Stockton Rush being interviewed about his engineering strategy. Check this out.
I'd like to be remembered as an innovator. I think it was General MacArthur said, you're remembered for the rules you break. And, I've broken some rules to make this. I think I've broken them with logic and good engineering behind me. The carbon fiber and titanium, there's a rule you don't do that. Well, I did.
Carbon fiber and titanium. So they are melded together, and that's what a lot of the criticism was. That's why there were people. One videographer from the Discovery Channel, I mentioned yesterday, it was from New York Times. It was from the Discovery Channel, canceled a documentary because he didn't want to get down. He's like, I don't think it's safe, and they didn't follow the same safety precautions that others did. So I guess maybe it is a little early that we're talking about it, but it is what everybody is talking about. It just didn't have to happen.
Yeah, it is kind of. It certainly didn't have to happen, and it makes you think too. There's so many times where, I mean, even think about like, this is a weird analogy. I'm stretching here, but like a donut tire on a vehicle. It's like, oh, an emergency, you can put a donut tire on, and you can get home, or you can get to the shop, or you can get where you're in the process of going. But don't drive around on it for a week at 75 miles an hour on the thruway, because that wheel's going to pop off.
Sooner or later, something's going to happen.
Just because you did it one time doesn't mean it's has the durability and the ability to sustain. What, like we said, was it the 5th trip, 8th trip, 12th trip? Just because you did it once didn't mean
it was. Yeah, they're saying it was over a dozen.
Yeah,
over a dozen times. Let's see here. Going into the weekend, we're looking at more unsettled weather, and humidity is going to come in. So we're going to be looking at that. It's kind of early for it, to be honest. That heat and humidity with the potential for thunderstorms, and we'll get into that. Skid Row will close out I guess you had that in the news, will close out the State Fair. I've never seen so much publicity about the State Fair so early.
They're doing a good job, yeah. I mean,
I guess, and we're the sheep that are just following through and covering it.
And it's like there's a concert announcement every single day, and I think they intentionally are slow leaking, slow releasing the schedule to get the hype and the excitement every single day.
Yeah. What else here this morning? Governor Christie, former Governor Christie, out and now presidential candidate, going even deeper. There was another candidate who announced yesterday who was very critical of the former president. Christie yesterday called Trump a crybaby and a loser for threatening to skip the debates. He's not only not holding back, he's doubling down.
Yes. I just don't know if he's calling him a loser. We've talked about this before. Only Trump can trump. So don't dive, no pun intended, don't dive down too deep into the Trump's world there, because your vessel will implode.
So, and I'll follow with this. Trump explained to the Daily Beast why he uses nasty nicknames against his rivals. And he tweeted it out as well. You have to put them in their place, which is why Chris Christie's nickname, do you know what that is? It's Sloppy Chris Christie. And I think, sometimes he does look he's got a little sloppiness to him. And then there are Ada Hutchinson, real name, he calls him Ada Hutchinson. In a video posted by Trump in the 2024 War Room campaign, Trump says he is often told by people not to punch down on his enemies, but feels that sometimes it's necessary to talk badly about those that for no reason other than politics speak badly about you. He said he does this, otherwise the people that love you don't know whether or not they're for real. Are they saying the truth or are they not? That's kind of where he's going with that, saying you have to put them in their place. I thought this was kind of an interesting deal. In New York City, an emotionally disturbed man with a sign claiming Google tortured me struck 4 pedestrians and crashed his car near the tech giant's New York City headquarters on Tuesday night, according to NYPD. Witnesses say they first saw Jason Bitten behind the wheel of a white Ford Fusion at the corner of West 15th Street and 10th Avenue in Chelsea after 6 p.m. Apparently, without warning, he turned the wheel of his car all the way to the left and drove into 4 people and then into the building of Google. He said Google was torturing me. I realize that's kind of a bit of a random story, but I have to say, in the last 24 hours, Davey, I've had Google issues.
Oh, have you?
And I had to reach out to, without getting into the whole thing, I had to reach out to Google. Did you know you can even reach out to Google? There's a phone number.
No, I learned
You can call Google.
I learned something new.
Because Google deals with, obviously, Google Ads. They handle YouTube, all of that stuff. So I had an issue that I had to deal with them on. So I got on the phone and I waited. I finally got a person, explained my problem, and she said, yes, we're going to send you right over to the correct department. And now I go on hold. And this all has taken well over 45 minutes I've been on hold. And at one point talked to someone, then went back on hold. Now I'm being sent over to the correct department. All of a sudden, after 45 minutes, after being on hold for probably another 20 minutes, a recording came up, and it said, I'm sorry, our customer service department is not taking phone calls today. You can email us. I felt tortured. Now, I'm not going to take my car and drive into a group of people and then into the building in New York City. However, I can understand how people can feel tortured by Google, I'm afraid. Here's one for you, Davey, that I have to wonder. Can Jesse Edwards change his mind, leave West Virginia, and decide to come back to Syracuse?
Oh, wow.
Summer officially arrived on Wednesday, but according to Mike Waters of Syracuse.com, the question is, can Jesse Edwards change his mind and return? Bob Higgins' coaching career came to an end with his recent arrest on DUI charges in Pittsburgh. Huggins had already brought embarrassment on himself by the West Virginia basketball program with his homophobic comments during a radio interview about a month ago. Although the transfer portal has closed, the NCAA does not allow, I'll get through this, I promise, does allow a 30-day window for players to enter the portal if the head coach leaves the school. So the answer to that is, if he chose to, Jesse Edwards could return to Syracuse.
That'd be awesome. Could you see that with him and Judah Mintz? Oh, that'd be
I completely
tremendous.
agree. That would be real. I mean, we're surmising here, but that would be with the coaching changes. That would be something. There's no doubt about it.
Plus, they brought in the local kid that played for Notre Dame. That'd be awesome.
YouTube TV, not YouTube, YouTube TV. If you subscribe to YouTube TV, and that's where you get your programming from, they are about to drop SNY, the SNY network. I believe it's a dispute, obviously over money. They'll be dropping it, which means you will not be able to. You would not be able to get the New York Mets broadcast unless they're on Pix, which I believe this weekend they are. You pick it up on WPNY up here. But that, I believe, will happen, if it hasn't happened already, almost immediately. Other stuff to get into here this morning. Of course, we mentioned the first round of the NBA draft. And the pick is, here we go.
With the first pick in the 2023 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Victor Wembanyama from Nanterre, France.
You have any opinion on that, Davey?
They're portraying this Victor, whatever his last name is, as the next LeBron James.
Okay. All right.
It's a great pick for the San Antonio Spurs. They haven't been consistent in the last couple of years since Tim Duncan retired. But
you have an opinion on that?
Well, just Wembayama is I believe is how it's pronounced. In fact, our intern Devin was doing a fantastic job pronouncing his name.
I studied that name.
Yes,
really good
it's a
job.
difficult
You're
name.
Right. Did we get Tanya?
7:15.
Okay. All right. We'll talk to her on the Titan issue next hour. Also, Willie Waffle coming up in a second, so stand by for that. Here's an internet sleuth helping a female radio host in Ohio find a man she kissed at a festival but never got any of his information.
Okay.
I mean, you hear these stories, and, we work within radio, and can you find something like that believable? Absolutely. So, and here's why. So they end up, the kiss probably did happen, but it's the exploitation in radio that I think is key, right?
Yeah, that's funny.
This could be a bit, is what you'll hear. Here is Cole Fitch telling his
We
story.
could do a contest. What if we don't find the person? We could hook you up with somebody else.
Kissing Natalie Jones during a show at Q102 in Cincinnati. I can't believe I'm running this story.
I think we introduced ourselves. She told me what she did, and then I told her what I did. We had a little bit of conversation about some other things. She told me she was buying my drinks. I was like, I don't know. I can get my own drinks, but she's like, I'm getting them. I was like, okay, I'm not going to fight with you. And
all right, I've heard enough of this. Not even going to play that. Give me a break. Coming up on the program here today, we'll have Oneida County Executive Anthony Pacini, and affordable housing is the topic. I think it's a big deal. We'll get to it. And we mentioned Mike Gentile, Utica Republican chair, and he'll talk about the upcoming primaries, where, as you know, you can vote today, tomorrow, and Sunday, and then nothing Monday, and you'll be able to vote on primary day on Tuesday from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m.
I don't want to go backwards, and I know you hate the story, but, part of the reason I think that's got such an interest, that radio story, is because people don't meet that way anymore. Well, they do, but they don't. There's so much...
There would have been some sort of an exchange, easily exchanging a phone number or whatever.
But people, you meet people online. It's through a network. It's through Facebook or whatever social medium there is. The random occurrence, I guess, doesn't happen that often. Maybe that's why people are interested in it. But anyway, it's kind of a cheesy cornball story.
Well, it is, but there are many people who've had that experience. I've actually had that experience. And maybe it's just because I couldn't remember what happened that night. That's possible.
I have had that experience.
More people have had that experience than you really think. Let me break, and we'll have Willie Waffle coming up in a second talking about the weekend's blockbusters, the movies. By the way, based on our free money question of the day, which we'll do this morning at 7:35, the movie that is credited with kicking off the blockbuster craze. So every summer, the summer blockbusters. What was the first movie in movie history to do it? You know the answer.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
It was Jaws. We'll break and come right back at WIBX.
Utica has been my home for the past 63 years. 35 years of business in the private sector and a business owner for 20. Over 20 years of serving Utica as a professional firefighter. Past chairman of the Public Safety Committee, 3-term elected council at large, making Utica a better place to live. Experience matters.
Elect endorsed Democratic candidate Frank DeBrango on primary day, June 27th. Paid for by Friends of Frank DeBrango.
Hi, I'm Bill Morehouse. I'm the Chief Financial Officer of the City of Utica. The city is on an upward trajectory. We need to maintain that trajectory. We need a leader with honesty, integrity, and someone who can truly lead our city forward. That person is Frank DeBrango. He has the experience, he has the knowledge. I'll be voting for Frank DeBrango on June 27th, primary day, and I hope you'll join me. It's very important for the Democratic Party that we make this happen. Frank DeBrango, the next mayor of the City of Utica.
Paid for by Friends of Frank DeBrango.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Syracuse University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Syracuse University's partnership with the IBEW will provide talented students the opportunity to advance their careers while shaping the future of the electrical trades and the industries they serve.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
If you have an IRA or 401k, please listen closely. My name is Jason Hansen. I'm a former CIA officer and New York Times bestselling author. Throughout my career, let's just say I've been in some hairy situations. And I believe right now the biggest threat facing Americans is they need to protect their wealth, which is exactly what I'm doing for my wife and 6 kids. And I believe the ultimate safe haven is physical gold and silver. You can protect your hard-earned retirement assets with a tax-free loophole that allows you to convert your retirement into physical gold and silver. The folks I use are Advantage Gold, and believe me, I've investigated the heck out of all types of people. Advantage Gold is the nation's highest-rated gold company. They have the best process, pricing, and service. If you want to get your free gold and silver investment kit, please contact Advantage Gold right now, and you'll see how easy it is to protect yourself with precious metals. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
Call 800-900-8000.
Here's what Romans are saying about the importance of voting Mayor Jackie Izzo in Tuesday's Republican primary. Former Rome Hospital trustee Kim Cook.
I feel that 4 more years would give her, time to complete some of the projects that are in process now.
Businessman Kevin Barry.
What do they say that when you're on a winning team, stick with the winners? Well, Jackie's a winner, so I hope that the people of Rome realize just how hard she works for them.
Vote early through Sunday. The Republican primary is this Tuesday from 6 a.m. till 9 p.m. Paid for by Friends of Jackie Izzo.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Hey, the official coffee, the Keeler in the Morning radio program, bright and early. They're ready for you right now. Daylight Donuts in New Hartford with a very swift and fast drive-through. Fresh donuts already, fresh bagels ready to go, and the delicious coffee, espresso, lattes. Their pistachio latte is just delicious.
I have to try that.
Good. All right, couple things. A few comments here this morning. First of all, you can't have Titanic without Titan. That's true. Now that Titan is a part of the Titanic history when you think about it.
They're going to be doing tours to be at the site.
Do you know the owner of, what's the company? Ocean Gate or whatever the name of that company is.
Ocean Gate, yeah.
The owner and CEO of that company, his wife lost relatives on the Titanic.
Oh, my.
Isn't that ironic? Mike also says, it's amazing in the amount of international players that have become MVPs of the NBA. Look at what happened with how do you say his name?
Jokic.
Who's enormous but hates parades. And
when is parade?
And I can't read the rest of it, Mike. I can't read the rest of it. When is parade? This is also an interesting sports story that broke yesterday on ESPN. Rob Manfred, Rob Manfred, Major League Baseball commissioner, has admitted, and then I'm reading this, I'm like, oh, great. Is there something?
You got me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. That he says it was not his best decision, and he regrets giving Houston Astros players immunity for the that cheating incident that occurred. He said it might not have been such a bright move. Many knew it at the time the 2017 cheating scandal went down, but now Manfred is owning up to it, referring to it as maybe not my best decision ever. Manfred now says giving players immunity puts you in a box as far as punishment. He now says that decision is one he wishes he could have back. And I think we all agree on that. especially Mets fans, after the last 3 games.
Well, yes, and but I completely agree that there should have been some type of a penalty doled out to the players. Ultimately, it was left, and it did kind of create an interesting circumstance where the players are being booed everywhere they went, as they would have been. But you had some pitchers throwing at these players, and basically, when asked about it, their attitude was, well, the league didn't do anything to them, so we have to police it.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the case anyway, but at least that was the excuse that was given. Look, I think they wanted to get to the bottom of it. They wanted to create the impression, if nothing else, that like this was over now. There was no more cheating, so they wanted players to come forward, and they thought that getting them to talk about it would help put it in the rear view, and maybe it did that. But I think, and he did apologize after he did this. Remember when he talked about the World Series, and it was about this, and it was about punishing the Astros. And some said, should you take away, or you should take away their World Series trophy? And he said the World Series trophy was just a piece of metal. And that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Well,
and I like
yeah.
Rob Manfred, but
well, I think he was in deep on that one, and now he's talking about it and saying he wishes he could get it back, and he never will be able to. And it was what he calls not his best decision. And then
well,
one
you got to
more.
own it. Good for him.
You have Willie there, Davey? Yes. I'll be right with him. Let me tell you, Aaron Rodgers, and you knew this was coming, is now pushing for psychedelics acceptance. I mean, this is the ayahuasca. What is it?
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. Yeah. It's when Tucker came in from Slice, when he came in talking about it. Aaron Rodgers among those who are pro psychedelics. At a Denver psychedelics conference, Rodgers was there. He was one of an extensive lineup of speakers preaching the benefits of legalization, calling upon his own experiences. He said, it is not ironic that the things that actually expand your mind are illegal, and things that keep you in the lower carcass and dumb you down have been legal for centuries.
Yeah, okay. Well, he's going down that path. I will say this.
Ironic that things that actually expand your mind are illegal. I don't know if I said that right.
Yes, and look, it sounds like he's had a good experience, and he wants to continue to do his experience when it comes to the psychedelics and so on. And I'm not saying anything against them or for them. I'm just saying not everybody does a psychedelic for an experience, and then it helps them in life, and then they move on. Some people are like, I mean,
I guess
Shaggy. Whoa, man! Like,
right, yeah. Well,
so I don't know if that's a great idea.
They're doing random drug tests on NFL players all the time, and he's out talking about going down this road. Not sure it's the best move in the world.
Also, we can't really even police not selling vapes to minors. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure the psychedelics will be illegally sold to them too.
Here he is, Willie Waffle, and Willie. Good morning.
Hey, man, down here in Binghamton on Main Street, you can buy yourself some marijuana out of a shop. So the world is changing, ain't it?
Listen, is there one open here yet? No, Syracuse just opened one, and there are plenty of places that are selling it here.
See, in Utica,
maybe not legal.
We still support the little guy. We still like the middleman. Down here in Utica, you can buy your weed right out of someone's trunk. Yeah. You don't have to go to a shop.
Yeah, God
knows.
Go
down to the park.
Yeah,
see Johnny.
Exactly.
Okay, Willie, what are we looking at this weekend? By the way, I've gotten stuck on the White House plumbers, and we finished it.
Oh, yeah.
Did a show?
Yeah. So it's in reference to Watergate. And Willie, it's good. I just never realized that G. Gordon Liddy was such a nut job.
Oh, yeah. He's insane. Like, he was on the radio when I lived in D.C., and he would tell these stories, and you'd be thinking, he's got to be making it up.
Yeah.
There's no way this could have really happened. There's no way he actually thinks these things. Like, I remember there was this one story he was talking about. I was talking to this guy. I think it was John Dean. I was talking to John Dean. This is before everybody knew what happened, and I thought they sent him over to talk to me because I was supposed to kill him. And I knew there was a pencil on the table, and I could do this and that. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about?
It's in the series. It's in.
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah. And I saw him speak at a radio convention back when he'd started his radio show, and he was a big deal. Somehow he really did a great job of changing his image, and he was loved in jail. By the way, they loved him in jail. But while in jail, he said one of the biggest problems is first thing in the morning. What do you have to do? You have to go to the bathroom. Yeah. And I would have to go to the bathroom first thing in the morning. The problem is long lines. I solved the problem very easily.
Yeah.
I went to the art room and I created a sign that said syphilis inmates only, and I posted it on the door. And I had my own bathroom every morning, first thing in the morning.
Yes, I remember this.
Yeah.
This is a legendary story.
That's quite the G. Gordon Liddy story. But man, this and then what's his name, formerly of Cheers, the bartender?
Woody Harrelson. Harrelson, yes.
Woody Harrelson is in it also. And while I wonder at times, I really got to do my research and kind of get down the rabbit hole and figure what's real, what's not real. It's I think 4 episodes. It's worth watching. And
I'm
that's
totally
on
doing it. I signed up for Max, so I'm going to be watching it.
Yeah, you have to get rid of your old HBO app, and it's now on Max. I'm assuming if you subscribe to HBO through Spectrum or something, do you get these streaming shows?
I remember you got HBO Max because that's how I got it. I had HBO through my cable system.
Yeah, I think you got it.
Which is Spectrum, and you put in some information, you log in with your Spectrum, login if you have an account with them, or you have to establish one. And I got it that way. I think that still holds.
And then I wanted to mention one other series that is really, really good. It's back. I'm not a big Sex and the City fan, but The Bear, on Hulu.
The Bear's back.
Love it. It's back. Is it back right now?
It's back right now. They just dropped all the episodes yesterday. And for people who don't know, The Bear is one of my favorite shows of all time.
It's really good.
It's about this guy. He's a fancy chef. Like worked at the French Laundry, like level of that level of chef. And his brother commits suicide and leaves him his little sandwich shop in Chicago. And the guy comes back, and he's trying to run the shop, and he's trying to make a success out of it, and he's having trouble relating to the employees. He's having trouble with all the debt he's in. And it's just an amazing show. And episode 2 is kind of like now he wants to start changing things, and we're going to see how he's changing things.
It is I don't know. I just loved it. It's about a restaurant, as you say, but beyond that, it's really deep relationships and struggles and all that. It's a really, really good series.
Well, it's about him and all these strains that he's had and all these strained relationships he's had with his family. How the folks at the restaurant who've been working together forever, they're kind of like their own little family, and they have their squabbles and they have their territorial disputes. And one of the guys, the cousin, who's kind of always been the manager of the sandwich shop, doesn't want things to change. He wants to live in the past and what he thinks were these great glory days, and he's not embracing the way everything's changing around him. Oh, it's so amazing. So amazing. Watch the first season before you jump into season 2, because I don't think season 2 means as much unless you've seen season 1. Because I did watch the first episode last night, and they really do just pick up from where they left off at the end of season 1.
By the way, that's on Hulu. All right, what else? We had a trivia question earlier this week. Which movie in movie history really started the summer blockbuster craze? You know what movie that is?
That would be Jaws.
You're absolutely right. Who am I to even think I could ask a question that you wouldn't know the answer to in regards to movies? But it was Jaws. So here we are in that summer blockbuster season. And what do you have for us?
Well, we're in a little bit of a lull. I think, the summer blockbuster season is really hot around early May. Sometimes you get a big release on Memorial Day, and then next week we're going to have a big summer blockbuster. But right now we're kind of talking about movies that are okay, and one of them, No Hard Feelings. This is that big raunchy comedy you've seen advertised starring Jennifer Lawrence, kind of this down-on-her-luck gal. She needs money. Her car got repossessed. She can't pay her taxes, and she responds to an ad. This extremely rich couple hires her to date their young son as he's getting ready to go to college because they think he's kind of a loser. He doesn't have a lot of friends. He's not good with the ladies. They want to give him some confidence so he has the college experience. And, well, she's going to try her best, and it's not going to go well.
I'm assuming the storyline doesn't go well, but is it the movie not going well?
It's an okay movie. I think that Jennifer Lawrence is very, very funny and really plays it for comedy. Plays it as a lady who's trying so hard to try to be sexy that she's awkward at it and she's bad at it. And we're laughing along with her, and we're laughing at her failed attempts to try to woo this guy who seems to have no interest at all in anything naughty. So that part is funny. But I think what happens is they take what should be like this raunchy, crazy comedy that it intends to be, and it starts off to be, and then tries to make it sweet, tries to have a happy ending where everything works out for everybody. And I think that's where it loses its bite. I'm going to say 2.5 waffles for no hard feelings.
Is this like the modern day version of, I don't know, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Porky's, all those?
It wishes it was.
Yeah, it wishes it was.
It alludes to that, but it doesn't really embrace that.
I really think I'd like to see this movie based on the previews. I have a fear that you're not going to like it. Asteroid City.
Well, I usually like Wes Anderson movies, but I think the problem with Asteroid City is it's trying to be too cute by half. So, you've seen all the advertisements that, it's this small little southwestern town. It's the 1950s. The government comes in and takes over the town because some amazing close encounter with aliens has taken place. And then you get to the movie and you find out that whole story is part of a play that we're supposed to be watching on television. And then we're seeing all the actors who are in the play. We're seeing them out of the play, behind the scenes, with all their trials and tribulations. And it's trying to layer too many stories on top of too many stories and, really just not focused on any one of them. And I think that's what hurts it. So I'm at like 1.5 waffles for Asteroid City.
All right, and then one more I wanted to ask you about is on Disney Plus, Secret Invasion.
Yeah, this is your new Marvels program, and you're getting all the Avenger adjacent characters. Okay, all the actors who are like, oh, I'm so glad I signed up for the Marvels because now I'm getting money all the time. Yeah, that's what's here. You got Samuel L. Jackson playing Nick Fury. He's back. For folks who are not familiar with the Marvel world, he went away to another planet for a few years. Well, now he's been called back to Earth because a secret group of aliens has been secretly invading Earth, and he's the only one who can stop them. So it really is a Samuel L. Jackson show. It's 6 episodes. We've got one out this week. We'll have one every week leading into August. And I like watching Samuel Jackson. I like his hubris. I like his strength. I like his sarcasm. And that's what you're getting here. I'm going 3 waffles for Secret Invasion.
Okay, and that's on Disney Plus. And then I saw a little something. I was reading something about the Elizabeth Hurley story, and it kind of has a little Oedipus to it, doesn't it?
This is just Central, okay?
Yeah.
So Elizabeth Hurley is starring in a movie that's in post-production right now. It's called Strictly Confidential. And let's just, I'll from the tagline, she's a woman in a world of seduction, duplicity, and betrayal. And she has lots of erotic scenes, and I would assume that goes along with some nudity and some steaminess. And the director of the movie is her 21-year-old son.
Yeah, that's, can you imagine directing even if your mother is Elizabeth Hurley? I don't know.
That's just, how do you, first of all, let's face it, no son wants to see their mother naked.
No,
okay, so
no.
that's a problem right there. And number 2, can you imagine him giving her direction on the set, like, hey Mom, arch your back a little bit more so I can see this. Yeah,
okay.
That just, everything about it makes me want to take a shower.
That's not out yet, but it will be. Great stuff, Willie. We appreciate it. We'll do it again next week. Thank you.
All right, next week, Indiana Jones is
That's
back.
big. I'm excited about that. WIBX Utica Rome. It's 7 o'clock.
The U.S. knew that submersible may have been lost days ago. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The search for it ended yesterday when underwater robots found debris.
This was a catastrophic implosion of the vessel.
Coast Guard Rear Admiral John Mauger says all 5 people on board were killed as they descended to tour the Titanic shipwreck, and now we're learning.
The U.S. Navy picked up the sound of an implosion or explosion just hours after the Titan began its voyage on Sunday through a top-secret U.S. military acoustic detection system used to spot enemy submarines. The search and rescue mission continued in part because the Navy intel was not definitive.
That's Fox's Brian Yennis in Boston. Tropical storm Brett is hitting some Caribbean islands, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Martinique. Right behind it is Tropical Storm Cindy.
Expected to move north and west. And, the East Coast is going to have to watch this for possible indirect impacts like rip currents.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean. Days after we learned President Biden's son Hunter's worked out a deal to plead guilty to 2 tax evasion misdemeanors and to resolve a felony gun charge. House Republicans have released testimony from 2 IRS whistleblowers alleging the Department of Justice interfered with the Biden probe. Ways and Means Committee Chair Jason Smith tells Fox.
They delayed, they divulged, and they denied numerous examples of where these investigators tried to go into further prosecution of Hunter Biden.
The House's Democratic leader says the favoritism allegation is not serious. It'll get easier to get around Philadelphia today. They'll reopen Interstate 95 with a temporary road build just 12 days after a fiery tanker truck crash collapsed a section of I-95. And to help speed things up, they brought in a drying machine for the pavement from Pocono Raceway.
It's essentially a jet engine mounted on a Chevy Silverado.
Pennsylvania Transportation Secretary Michael Carroll. America's listening to Fox News.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text LION to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text LION to 321321. That's LION to 321321.
We have mostly cloudy skies and 61 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX News Time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by Country Suburban. A central New York man was issued only appearance tickets after a chaotic series of crashes and a police chase in Madison County. That's according to New York State Police, who were dispatched for an initial crash at Tech Force Automotive on State Route 31 in the town of Sullivan Wednesday morning. Witnesses called 911 saying the driver involved committed multiple acts of public lewdness along with multiple acts of criminal mischief to vehicles that were parked in that business's lot. The man, later identified as Robert Norton of Liverpool, ran back to his brand new 2023 Toyota Camry and drove off eastbound on Route 31 when state troopers arrived. Deputies from Madison County joined in the pursuit as well. Authorities say Norton would drive into the westbound lane, striking another vehicle, and then losing control, striking a sign pole. Norton actively resisted. He was tasered by police. You can see photos of the vehicle wreckage on our website at WIBX950.com. That new vehicle was totally destroyed in those 2 wrecks and subsequent chase. Police say he is charged with criminal mischief in the 3rd degree, a Class E felony, along with a half a dozen misdemeanor charges. He was issued appearance tickets and released after being charged by police. New Yorkers who would like to fish can take part in a very popular activity at no cost this weekend. The second free fishing weekend of the year gets underway tomorrow and continues Sunday. No license is required to fish this weekend in New York. Governor Kathy Hochul says they give people the opportunity to enjoy the natural beauty that is found in every corner of the state. The other free fishing days this year are September 23rd and November 11th. A teenager who was arrested in connection with a murder in Syracuse will be tried as an adult. According to prosecutors, 17-year-old Unari Harold was involved in the robbery and shooting of 27-year-old Tyus Ogletree in January. Ogletree was inside the home with his girlfriend and her 3 kids. None of them were injured. Harold is now being held in the Hillbrook Juvenile Detention Center, and again, it's believed he will be tried for that murder as an adult. And the Mega Millions and Powerball jackpots continue to skyrocket. Still no winners. A combined $747 million on the line. The top prize for Mega Millions tonight is $320 million, and Powerball tomorrow night is $427 million. Both drawings are streamed live online. It costs $2 a ticket. What do you think the odds are? We need a real numbers cruncher on this one. What are the odds that you'd win both this weekend?
Well, that would be astronomical.
Not going to happen. That's what I can say about that. WIBX News Time 7:06. Got some rain in the forecast.
I was going to be like, well, the odds are right on the thing. Just look at the odds. Now, and then you add that to it? I'm like, that's
to win one, not
over
both.
my head. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
The odds of getting some rain today and tomorrow, it's like 1-1. Hopefully it won't be a full washout. Here's what we can expect from Eyewitness News.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, isolated rain showers around early, turning muggier as humidity increases. Few afternoon showers and isolated thunderstorms, a high of 79. Tonight, mostly cloudy, scattered thunder showers in the evening, low 67. And tomorrow, once again, scattered downpours and storms likely, especially afternoon and evening. Muggy, warm, high 78. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
We have clouds and 62 degrees. WIBX News Time 7:07. All right, they call it the worst-kept secret in sports. It became a reality last night as Francis Victor Wembanyama was selected by the San Antonio Spurs with the first overall pick in the NBA draft last night. Some more NBA news as superstar Chris Paul is headed to the Golden State Warriors. The Athletic says the Wizards are sending the point guard to the Warriors in exchange for Jordan Poole, Ryan Rollins, Patrick Baldwin Jr., and 2 future picks. The Wizards just acquired Paul from Phoenix last week in a blockbuster trade for Bradley Beal. 2 teams from the Southeastern Conference are set to battle for the 2023 College World Series Championship. 5th seed LSU knocked off top seed Wake Forest with a 2-0 walk-off victory in the 11th inning last night. LSU third baseman Tommy White blasted the 2-run shot in the bottom of the 11th to send the Tigers to the final. And they'll begin the series tomorrow against 2nd seed Florida in a best-of-3 series at Charles Schwab in Omaha. Florida's last national title game came in 2017, while LSU's came in 2009. Coming up next hour, we will talk with Roman Kimball, a New Hartford pitcher. He was at New Hartford, of course, pitched for Notre Dame last year in the College World Series and just missed an opportunity as South Carolina lost to Florida just before the College World Series began. We'll talk to him this morning and see if he's got any predictions for the College World Series coming up this weekend. Baseball, the Mets hoping to put an end to their recent slide. They're in Philadelphia opening up a series against the Philadelphia Phillies. Right-hander Kodai Senga expected to make his 14th start tonight. Let's see here. The Yankees taking another hit in their lineup. The team announcing Thursday that Willie Calhoun is headed to the injured list with a quad issue. The Yankees did drop their series finale against the Mariners 10-2 last night. Domingo Germán charged with the loss. New York is now third in the AL East at 41-34. They host the Texas Rangers for the start of a 3-game series that begins tonight at Yankee Stadium. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, throwing out the first pitch in the Bronx, it is the new coach of the Syracuse men's basketball team, Adrian Autry.
I got to say, I do not like this call.
No?
I don't. And because here's the thing. Boeheim was scheduled to throw the ball out. Boeheim was scheduled to throw out the first pitch.
Oh, really?
And because of the change in coaching, they changed it, and now Autry is throwing out the first pitch. I believe I heard that from you, to be honest with you. I think I heard that in your sports report.
No.
Or maybe I heard it somewhere else. But yeah, you have to look that up. I think that this was previously scheduled. And if that's true, I mean, you could still get away with having Boeheim throw out the first pitch, right? In honor of a great career, and I do understand that, his last few years have been a little rough. Davey, you have an opinion?
No, I don't.
Okay, no opinion at all. All right. Sorry.
That wasn't for me though. Like I know yesterday's
okay.
it said like Autry replaced him and was the head coach.
Yeah.
But not that he was scheduled to throw out the first pitch. That's interesting though, if he was.
Well, we may never know on that, and maybe it's just the way that the story was written. By the word replaced, that replaced him because now he's the head coach.
Right.
I perceived that as if it was already on the schedule. That would be really uncool.
And Syracuse is New York's team.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
It certainly is, and I'm sure it's an agreement that the Yankees have with maybe Syracuse University.
Could be.
That led to this. Yeah. And I wonder if Boeheim, too, has finally gotten over the fact that he's not the coach anymore, and like he's on a beach with a nice cool drink somewhere.
I don't think so. He just recently gave an interview talking about the retirement, how it ended, talking about how he feels like they just didn't win enough games in the last few years. Well, that's the understatement of the word.
Where's my bell? He's right on that one.
So, yeah, I think he's still around. That's for darn sure.
He's been spotted around Skinny Atlas playing golf quite a bit with Pearl Washington.
I have to say, Boeheim is somebody who loves Syracuse, loves the upstate New York region. So I don't see him the guy that's going to retire and head off and live in Florida.
Well, I didn't necessarily mean go live there. But,
Well, and you mentioned it just at a time where he just gave an interview. That's why I brought it up.
That's funny.
And, when I read the headline, Boeheim saying, we just probably didn't win enough games in the last couple of years, I would have removed the word probably, personally.
Me too.
Got a break. 7:12 coming up. We'll speak with Tanya Powers on that vessel, the submersible vessel heading to the Titanic, and how that went down. We learned a lot yesterday and even more after the press conference and overnight. We'll get into that. Mike Gentile is the Republican chair in Utica. I'd love to get his prediction on what he thinks is going to happen in the upcoming primary, which is underway right now. Of course, early voting through the weekend, through Sunday. And the primary, both Rome mayor and Utica mayor, the primary, 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. on Tuesday.
We've got some great comments we'll get to here as well.
Coming right back at WIBX.
Hi, Joe Carbone. Welcome to Power Sports in Utica. $1,500 rebates on jet skis. $2,000 off of Kawasaki KX models. We're moving out the 23 models for the 24s. And Bike Night, July 14th. Plenty of cold refreshments. Hi, I'm Joe Carbone. Welcome to Harley-Davidson of Utica. 50% off of all footwear. 40% off of all camp chairs, table sets. Buy one, get one, 75% off of hoodies. And Bike Night, July 14th. Plenty of cold refreshments.
I'm Celeste Friend, and I'm running for mayor of Utica. We need to build a sustainable city that serves us for generations to come. That means mitigating against flooding, planting trees, investing in our infrastructure, and building a livable city for our children and grandchildren. Please, vote for me in this month's Democratic primary. Early voting starts June 17th. Election Day is June 27th.
Paid for by the Committee to Elect Celeste Friend.
Say. But how? Start with your biggest investment, your home. Invest in the future with a new water furnace geothermal heating and cooling system by City Suburban. We at City Suburban have converted hundreds of customers to green energy to heat and cool their home. And we can do the same for you. Now is the best time with the New York State Clean Heat Energy Program, where you can save up to $12,000 while funds are available on your water furnace geothermal system, plus a 30% federal tax credit. They say go green. We say go Geo.
Hi, this is Chris from City Suburban. There's never been a better time than ever to go green. With the New York State Clean Heat Energy rebates and federal tax credit, you can save thousands on the installation, plus save for years to come on energy costs. And like always, every installation comes with City Suburban's POMG. That's peace of mind guaranteed. Call us today at 853-3899. That's 853-3899. Or visit us at citysuburban.com for more information.
Paid for by friends of Bob Cardillo. Experience, leadership, commitment. You get leadership experience by doing, by stepping in and stepping up, by working full-time to the commitments that the office demands. That's Bob Cardillo. experienced accomplishment at local, state, and federal levels. That's why we want Bob Cardillo for mayor.
I'm Bob Cardillo. Let's use my experience at federal, state, and local levels to improve our city. I've helped ConMed, Pioneer Village, and Utica University to grow right here. I want to do the same for Utica. I'll be a full-time mayor for a full-time job. Let's cut crime, combat inflation, and keep our college graduates local. Vote Bob Cardillo, primary day, June 27th. I'm Bob Cardillo, and I approve this message.
What time is it? In the Adirondacks, it's summertime. Old Forge just saw the return of Paddle Fest. Macaulay Mountain hosted the State Scholastic Mountain Bike Championships, and Water Safari is open. Relax and refresh on Main Street, USA, with your favorite stops and some new eateries in Old Forge and Eagle Bay. Come enjoy your Adirondack backyard.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Okay, 7:16. So we learned a lot yesterday with the Coast Guard's press conference. That was at 3 o'clock. Oh, she's not on the line? Oh, she's not. Okay. We learned a lot yesterday on with the press conference with the Coast Guard. And then even more afterwards. Turns out the Navy assumed, based on a noise that they picked up, an explosion that they picked up, right about the same time that this Ocean Gate lost contact with the submersible. The Navy kind of knew that it probably ended badly, but they still had to continue with the search and rescue.
Okay, so I was wondering how involved they were with the search and rescue, because it did seem like
Coast Guard was I think took the lead on it. We'll find out, though. I do have Tanya now. Tanya J. Powers from Fox News. Boy, this is a tragic ending to this thing.
It really is. I think a lot of us had, held out hope that there was going to be a whole different. This is not what was going to indeed happen.
So I thought we learned a lot. I thought the analogy of the pressure as you get down to that depth, which the analogy was that it was the Empire State Building on top of it. If the Empire State Building were made completely of lead, that just gives you a perspective on the type of pressure that was on this vessel.
I mean, yeah, that is. I hadn't heard that one yet, but yes, that would definitely give you, a better way to get your head around it, because when we start talking about how far down things are, and what the pressure is down there, and the conditions, like it's very dark. It's there's a whole lot of stuff going on. Most of us never get that far down in the water, and really don't have a lot of information about it. So yeah, some of these things we're learning have just been. In any other time, this would just be fascinating to learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's just terribly sad and tragic now.
So I also found it very interesting, all of the former participants, the people who knew this operation, James Cameron, how critical they were yesterday and how quickly they were critical, saying that this just didn't have to happen, that he didn't follow the safety protocols.
Yeah, there have been people throughout the week that have in the maritime, community, apparently, especially the researchers and people who do these adventures and stuff like that. And I say adventures, I mean people who scientists, and researchers, and folks who have taken some of these trips down there in other vessels, have sounded the alarm before now. Some of them sounded the alarm way before now, like years ago, saying that this particular vessel was not made out of the stuff it would need to be made out of to survive that that depth. And there were a lot of concerns about the safety. There was also concern about its certification and whether it had it or not.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of noise. It's been quite interesting to hear and to read about this particular community what their concerns were and how this is all done.
Yeah, like the Discovery producer who was scheduled to go down as part of his documentary, canceled the documentary because he just didn't think it was safe. I mean, some of these stories coming out are it's shocking that this and the billionaire who everybody's been talking about who also went down and perished in this apparently was a very experienced submersible diver or whatever they call this. It was one interview I saw said they were surprised that he would allow himself to be put in this position because he knew so much about this industry.
Right, and so did, and I'm assuming you're talking about Hamish.
Yeah,
can't think of his last name right now. But there was also the other person on board that had a lot of experience with this was Paul-Henri Nargeolet, who was
that's what I'm talking
French
about.
maritime expert. Yeah, he'd done more than 35 dives down to that area. His nickname is literally Mr. Titanic.
Yeah.
And he is the one that James Cameron had worked with all those years ago. He said he's known him for 25 years. I mean, there's, the people in this particular community. I mean, these were friends of theirs. Some of them were.
Yeah. And then watching Cameron talk about how there are vessels out there that are approved, that are tested regularly, that are certified. He talks about how he went about almost 3 times the depth of the Titanic, over 30,000 feet down in another vessel, but it was done safely. And he said he always felt safe, but he did not feel safe when it came to this vessel and this company.
Yeah, and that seems to be what I've heard others say exactly the same thing from that particular community. So I think a lot of elation will probably still come out about all of that.
Yeah. It was one of those, you're right, that I think a lot of people, it was captivating for a lot of people, and it was just one of those stories that grabbed everybody's attention. I actually had a friend of mine yesterday say, I think that this, you got this potential impeachment going on, which was going to go nowhere. You've got this happening. You've got all this stuff happening. All of a sudden, this distraction occurs. And I'm like, well, I'm not sure that we could.
Well, they were saying it was intentional?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the general thought yesterday is that the ship was, or this vessel was missing, and that really never did explode. What a great way, he said, for people to disappear. But, it's that type of stuff, Tanya, that ends up on the web these days when a story like this occurs. That it's a wag the, whatever that is.
Wag the dog?
Wag the dog type thing. Certainly, this did not end that way at all. It ended very, very badly. And the one you mentioned, the other, I believe it was Saudi Arabian, and another billionaire who took his son down. And the story that came out of that, Tanya, was interesting, that his son was afraid, scared to death to go on this, but wanted to bond with his dad, which is such a sad story.
Yeah. I know Hamish Harding was a British explorer, and you had Paul-Henri Nargeolet was a French maritime expert. And then you had Shahzada Dawood and Suleiman Dawood, the 19-year-old university student. And they were actually Pakistani, one of the most prominent families in Pakistan. And then, of course, Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate, who owned the Titan. So those were the people on board.
Clearly, Tanya, I have about 3/4 of this story right. The other quarter is being corrected by you. Thank you for that expertise.
Okay.
We do. That's why we have you on. I mean, let's be honest here. Well, listen, have a wonderful weekend in the Big Apple. Thank you so much. And, a very sad ending to the story.
Thank you.
All right, Tanya Powers from Fox News. Here's James Cameron talking about the implosion and comparing it. And we said this earlier last hour. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten criticism for going there like an hour after the announcement came that everybody had perished. But this is where he went. Here's the audio.
I'm struck by the similarity of the Titanic disaster itself, where the captain was repeatedly warned about ice ahead of his ship, and yet he steamed at full speed into an ice field on a moonless night, and many people died as a result. And for a very similar tragedy where warnings went unheeded to take place at the same exact site, I think is just astonishing. It's really quite surreal.
Here's one more. The CEO and co-founder of OceanGate, the company that built the submarine, once said that he liked to break the rules. And it turns out that's what Cameron was so critical of. Here he is just saying, yeah, that's it allows me to expand the horizons when I break the rules. Here he goes.
I'd like to be remembered as an innovator. I think it was General MacArthur said, you're remembered for the rules you break. And, I've broken some rules to make this. I think I've broken them with logic and good engineering behind me. The carbon fiber and titanium, there's a rule you don't do that. Well, I did.
Yeah, I caught that, Mike. Here's his comment, Mike's comment. How about they said that if they ever were going to, and they were very careful about saying this yesterday, if they ever going to recover the bodies from the Titan, that the only thing left would be the extreme pressures. Because of the extreme pressures, the only thing left would be most likely tissue fragments. This thing, when it imploded, would have blown everything up inside. So, and Mike says, Davey, I got to bring you in on this because I caught this. Did I just hear Davey saying Jim Boeheim has been spotted playing golf with Pearl Washington?
Yeah, I meant to say Roosevelt Boulevard.
Yeah, because you know that Pearl is no longer with us.
I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. Mike is on you on that one, Davey. In studio right now is Mike Gentile. Mike is the Republican chair in the city of Utica, and we'll leave it at that for right now, and then we'll get into Little League. Mike, good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I wasn't sure what hat to wear today, but I wore the Little League one.
You're wearing the Little League hat. We'll get to that. But let's start with the primary here. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking in the upcoming primary? Obviously, it's not the only race, but the mayor's race is a big one. Bob Cardillo and Mr. Galimi going at it. What do you think?
Mike Galimi is our endorsed candidate, and I expect to be able to vote for him in November, which means he'll win the primary on Tuesday.
He's going to win the primary on Tuesday.
Win the primary.
Fair enough. They have been cordial, would you say?
For the most part, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And do you still feel that that Bob will stay in the race? I mean, he's all but said he would. If he were to lose this, he'll still be on the conservative line.
Right.
You expect him to stay in the race?
So he has the option to remove himself from the conservative line, and I hope that he does that. It would be the right move to do, to rally around the Republican candidate, and it's an integrity piece at that point.
Yeah.
If he stays in, then it just shows that he's not in it for the right reasons.
I will also say that because you don't feel that he can win, you feel that will place a Democrat into the mayor's office again.
Absolutely.
Okay. I also was surprised the other day that Celeste Friend kind of has changed her mind. In the beginning, she said that she would absolutely support the Democrat if she were to lose in the primary.
Right.
But she backed off on that and said that now she's not sure. I thought that
she'll
was surprised by
assess the results, and she does have, I believe, the working families line. Was that the only other line she had? I think it was just working families, but
well,
interesting.
Now ask you. Now having Bob stay in would be bad. Having Celeste stay in if she were to lose, that'd be a pretty good thing, wouldn't it?
I mean, it's all going to shake out. It's going to split up the things. Listen,
it'll split. You'd see that as being splitting up the vote. It could very well benefit Republicans.
It's certainly, making a commitment to run for mayor is a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
And, you put your heart and soul into it, and then middle of June, you're going to get some results, and then you have to make some tough decisions. And it's sometimes hard to take a step back and think big picture and think about, supporting the party and supporting others when, you put your heart and soul into it.
Yeah,
so I get the concern, but, we're also educated people, and we talk about our experience. We talk about all this. History repeats itself, and we should be able to think big picture.
Why Mike Galimi over Bob Cardillo?
Listen, he's shown over the last 8 years as council president, he's shown in just the way he is committed to the community that he's not here just to run for mayor. He's dedicated to the community regardless. it is interesting when you have candidates that decide to run for an office like this that have to all of a sudden change their whole world around running for mayor, and all of a sudden now you start showing up and now you start doing this and now you start doing that. Mike Galimi didn't have to do that. He just had to keep doing what he was doing in the community, and he's there.
Yeah.
He's with us. He's invested, and, you know, we always want that type of candidate, and now we have it.
Jeff has a question, but I did want to follow up one quickie. Do you think the full-time mayor thing and the fact that Galimi's going to keep his job, do you feel that is resonating with voters?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think anybody that has actually, you know, lived in society in a normal situation understands that, you know, a lot of us have different things that we're doing, and that's part of being committed to a community, is being stretched into different areas. Mike is there. He's there every step of the way. He has always proven that he's going to be there. You know, let's do a reverse thing. Bob Cardillo wasn't at the school board meeting last night. Okay, he wants to go out and say that he's going to be a full-time this. He hasn't been a full-time anything in a really long time. So Mike has shown that he has the energy, shown that he has the ability, shown that he is going to go above and beyond to provide and be there for the city. And any doubt of that is, I just think, is very unfair.
We're still trying to find out what happened last night on that school board meeting. 4 members were there, I believe, which is enough for a quorum. And they had an executive session, then they came out. So I'm not sure what happened there last night.
Interesting. So let's just say Mr. because we ran down the possibilities of Mike Galimi winning the primary, Mr. Cardillo wins the primary. I guess there's some question here, and I have talked to Mike about this independent line. If Cardillo wins the primary, would you encourage Mike to get out of the way?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Absolutely. And he's committed to that. And that's the thing. That's the difference. Mike Galimi is committed to the party, committed to the city of Utica. At this time, it seems like Bob Cardillo is committed to himself.
Gotcha.
And as the party chair, you would it would be a real mistake if you did not support the winner of the primary.
Absolutely. And I would support, and I would go with the will of the people.
Okay.
And hopefully we would have some conversations about how moving forward we can represent better.
Manaski.
That's a nice hat you got on.
Thank you.
Are you all ready to go to baseball?
Well, it's up to you. I just I thought about that possibility because there was the additional line for Galimi, but you know, based on, and I don't know that we fully reported this because I do have some outstanding questions, but there was a challenge, right? We talked about this from the messages I got from Mr. Zecca. There was a challenge put into the independent line that Mike Galimi has. So it is looking at this time like he will not be on that line in the general. Let's assume that he wins. But there are actually 3 candidates in Utica who will have that line. I think it's Sam, Mark Williamson, and who's the one I'm forgetting?
Rocco Druzzi.
And Rock Druzzi. There you go.
What is the line? What is the name of the?
So it's just an independent line at Utica Forward.
Yes,
Utica Forward. It's so difficult for the confusion between an independent line and the independence line.
Also,
there is no independence
let's talk
party
about how
anymore,
interesting it is that Jim Zecca is the ringleader on these challenging of these petitions, and they just tried to make anybody that went after Mike Hennessy for challenging petitions the devil. And I mean, what? It's just so frustrating.
Are you this tough on the baseball field?
It is just so frustrating to see that we have these constant contradictions of these people. It's good for me, it's not good for you, and it's just exhausting. And Jim Zecca has been an absolute example of when it's his way, you know, everything's good. If he wants to challenge petitions, it's the best thing that's ever happened. But if anybody else, how dare they challenge petitions?
We brought this up yesterday.
And it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And how anybody can consistently go with that when everything is a contradiction, it's just unbelievable. And the fact that Bob Cardillo's with them, Steve Piacentino, Jim Zecca, all of these people are bunched up into a room together, and they're just miserable to the political process.
I also find it interesting that group.
It's going to be a bad segue to Little League.
I have a perfect way to do it. But I also find it very interesting that it shows you that there's an underlying, and you got to throw Rozier in on that mix too. I'm sorry. There's an underlying anger and turn the table over and let's just burn everything down mentality. I mean, they even put all their efforts into the school board race. Like, why? I mean, here's a position, and I mean, look at everything that's going on at that school district.
It's disgusting. Look at the candidates they supported.
I cannot believe the candidates that they supported.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And talk about people signing petitions. I mean, it's just
and not
it's
all
disgusting.
of them. I mean, there were some people in it for the right reason, but there was some, I mean,
there's one in particular.
That was just
They were right
horrific.
around it. And you want to talk about integrity. You want to talk about who's going to represent, anybody that.
And they carried petitions for her.
Yeah, signed them and everything.
Yeah,
very disappointing.
Galimi deals. Oh, a brushback.
Okay. All right. Do you mind hanging while we take a break?
Yes.
And then the break will serve as our transition.
Perfect.
And then there's some news on local Little League baseball, and we'll get to that. Davey, do I dare say it's Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Friday starts with what?
The weekend.
Okay. Yeah. With what letter? Friday starts with
W.
F.
An F. Friday starts with an F, and so does the word $400.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
The jackpot this morning for this morning's question is $400.
Oh, see, this is... So, I already know what the school board meeting happened last night. You reached out to Joe to find out what happened. He didn't call you
would
back.
Not call me back. He didn't tell me anything.
So
So this
we've upped
morning,
it.
it's $400 is the jackpot. All right, we're going to get to that in a second. Manaski has a quick update, and then we'll speak more with Michael here in a second. So stand by. Davey, the weekend starts with the letter F. Friday. Yeah. I see where you're going. $400. It's coming up in a second. Stand by at WIBX.
Buy direct from the manufacturer and make a splash with a new spa from Strong Spas, now open in Sangertown Square. Choose from over 100 ready-to-deliver spas in stock with new inventory weekly and prices slashed to move fast. Visit the largest spa showroom in New York State and ask about their many financing options. You have to see this showroom to believe it. Strong Spas. Experience the difference in person. Sangertown Square, New Hartford, or online at strongspas.com. Hurry, these spas won't last.
Hi, I'm Mike Gentile. When elected mayor, backed by 8 years of direct action with the people as council president and decades of professional experience, I will establish a new roadmap for our city based on the needs and concerns garnered from your doorsteps. Standing alongside you as a fellow citizen, I will lead as a trustee of our tax dollars with a keen attention to detail, committed to setting policies that will improve the delivery of all city services, holding our government accountable. Send the right candidate to the general this year. June 27th, vote Mike Gentile for mayor.
Paid for by Mike for Mayor.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at hnhmedicalny.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
I'm Celeste Friend. I'm running for mayor of Utica. When I'm out talking to people, one thing comes up again and again: paving. As mayor, I will create a transparent system for paving. We'll evaluate each street and publish a list of worst to best. You'll know when to expect your street to be repaved. Please vote for me in this month's Democratic primary. Early voting starts June 17th. Election day is June 27th.
Paid for by the Committee to Elect Celeste Friend.
We have cloudy skies and 62 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX News Time is 7:39. This news update is brought to you by Harley-Davidson of Utica and Power Sports of Utica. Stop in today to check out their large selection at 4870 Commercial Drive. Investigators looking for insight into how a catastrophic implosion killed all 5 passengers aboard the Titan submersible. Officials have yet to conclusively determine whether the devastating implosion occurred at the moment when the submersible stopped communicating about an hour and 45 minutes into the dive. Parts of Colorado still reeling from a storm that included a tornado and baseball-sized hail. The National Weather Service called the severe weather in the Denver area Thursday A particularly dangerous situation, storm-related damage and downed trees left thousands of customers without power. The major highway that collapsed in Philadelphia will reopen today. A section of I-95 has been closed for nearly 2 weeks after a fiery tanker crash caused an overpass to collapse. The interstate is a major thoroughfare on the East Coast, and the bridge closure has had an impact on nationwide shipping. President Joe Biden and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi are hailing a new era of cooperation between the U.S. and India. Biden hosted a state dinner last night at the White House. The world leaders are also announcing new agreements between the two countries, including deals on semiconductors, critical minerals, and defense. Canadians won't be able to share content on Facebook and Instagram anymore because of a new law that requires the platforms to pay news outlets for shared stories. Have you seen this? This is unbelievable.
Wow.
Meta said Thursday it would follow through with plans to block the platforms. In the U.S., California is considering similar legislation. Again, Canadians won't be able to share content on Facebook and Instagram because of a new law requiring the platforms to pay news outlets for shared stories. And French basketball star Victor Wembanyama is the number one pick in the NBA draft. No surprise there. He was selected by the Spurs last night in the first round. He called it a dream come true. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast calling for some wet weather here today and this weekend, but hoping for it not to be a total washout.
Yeah, it's going to be a washout. It's going to be humid.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm interrupting.
No.
I'm having that interruption in my mind today. I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We'll get
continue.
details now from Craig Flint.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, isolated rain showers around early, turning muggier as humidity increases. Few afternoon showers and isolated thunderstorms, a high of 79. Tonight, mostly cloudy, scattered thunder showers in the evening, low 67. And tomorrow, once again, scattered downpours and storms likely, especially afternoon and evening. Muggy, warm, high 78. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
We have cloudy skies, 62 degrees. WIBX News Time, 7:42.
All right, Davey, you ready to go here? We're ready? We're going for caller number what?
7.
7, okay. Seventh caller, the jackpot is, can I just read before seventh caller, sorry, the jackpot is $400. Hobica just responded finally. Now you'll never know what happened. I don't even know what that means. $400 what was that?
He wants me to fight you on the 400.
He does. I'm sure he does. $400 jackpot if you can answer this question. When we come right back. Seventh caller will get that shot on WIBX.
Hi, Joe Carbone. Welcome to Power Sports of Utica. $1,500 rebates on jet skis. $2,000 off of Kawasaki KX models. We're moving out the 23 models for the 24s. And Bike Night, July 14th. Plenty of cold refreshments. Hi, I'm Joe Carbone. Welcome to Harley-Davidson of Utica. 50% off of all footwear. 40% off of all camp chairs, table sets. Buy one, get one, 75% off of hoodies. And Bike Night, July 14th. Plenty of cold refreshments.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton of Hilton Estate and Elder Law with important information that you should know regarding your estate planning. Specifically, you should have prepared what is known as the Big Three. Basic estate planning is comprised of the three main documents that you need. First is the will, next is the healthcare proxy, and last is the power of attorney. What most people don't know is how important of the three the power of attorney really is, because New York State has no simple method for you to act on another's behalf if they become incapacitated. I am often asked, what is probate and why is it needed? Probate is the act of administering the will through the New York State court system. It requires a filing fee and other actions to be taken as well as a petition to be filed. It is time-consuming and can be expensive. It can be avoided by using a living trust. To find out more about strategies to protect your loved ones through proper estate planning, contact us at Hilton Estate and Elder Law. Call for more information and to schedule an in-person meeting to answer your questions.
Hilton, you know the name. They know the law. Hilton Estate and Elder Law.
Here's what Romans are saying about the importance of voting Mayor Jackie Izzo in Tuesday's Republican primary. Rome Chamber Chairman of the Board, John Calabrese.
It's critically important to keep Jackie in place. There's so many projects that are ongoing, that are complex,
that need her level of leadership.
Community member Mike A.D.
You have to know how to work hard to win something. She cares about Rome. She's a Roman.
Vote early through Sunday. The Republican primary is this Tuesday from 6 a.m. till 9 p.m. Paid for by friends of Jackie Izzo.
If you're even thinking about downsizing, maybe you're upgrading, whatever your deal is, selling your home, selling a property. If you're even thinking about it, the people to call, I recommend River Hills Properties. When we were selling our home, we wanted somebody that was going to be full service with us every step of the way to lower the stress level. It can be very stressful selling a home. And, you know, especially after you've been in a house for 20 years, which was our situation. So we wanted a listing agent there every time the house was shown. No one could do it for us, but River Hills does. River Hills does. And it's with every client, everyone selling their home. Your listing agent is basically your team member in the whole process, lowering the stress level from start to finish. List with River Hills. Call them today. Interview them. Make the decision based on an interview on what they do for you. You will be quite surprised. In Barneville, Little Falls, and Utica, serving all of upstate New York, it's River Hills Properties, LLC.com. That's the website, and you can call them at 315-896-1009.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, I feel like today's the day. Today is the day we're going to give away Hopica's dough.
400 beans.
$400 on the line, and AJ is in Frankfurt. Hey, AJ, you ready to go?
Good morning. I'm so ready to go.
All right, this is yours, and you're going to nail it. I just know it. You're going to nail it. Here is your question. You'll have 7 seconds to answer. Comes from the Hobica Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobica, at 315-724-1600. Here's the question. Which legendary corporation did Carl Stotz form in 1950? Ready, go.
No idea.
I'm gonna go over to the Republican chair. Do you know the answer to this?
I do not.
Oh, you should. Carl Stotz formed and incorporated Little League Baseball Incorporated in 1950.
I didn't hear that. I didn't catch the name.
Stotz. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I thought having him on talking baseball.
That's a great question.
Well, we don't give it away. We're going to have to grow more next week. Listen, AJ, we're going to give you the all-in-one, Utica all-in-one food and fun card. It's a $25 gift card, good at all the restaurants, Aquavino, Babes, Taylor and the Cook, at any of the concession stands at the Adirondack Bank Center, Nexus, and Cookie's Q and Creamery. Talk about catering. They can cater any party at their place or yours. It's Mohawk Valley Gardens, and it's a $25 gift card that Davey's going to hook you up with, AJ. Stand by, and he's going to get your address. We'll mail it right to you. All right? If anybody ever asks that question, AJ, again, Stotz, S-T-O-T-Z.
Little League Baseball.
Little League Baseball. All
Which
right,
is interesting because Little
tight.
League was before that. So, the incorporation, that makes sense, yeah.
So
absolutely.
Little League started in Wilmington,
36.
where, in the 1930s. Williamsport,
Pennsylvania,
which is where the World Series is held. And then, then I think they started with 3 teams.
Yep. And they were all local businesses in
all
Williamsport.
Local. Yeah.
Lindy Lumber, and I forget the other 2 offhand.
And then they realized, well, we might have something here. And then in 1950 incorporated, and it spread around the country. Pretty wild.
We're gonna let Mike take his political hat off now and wear the Little League hat that he has in here because it's a big weekend. Right?
In addition to the chairmanship for the Republican Party, you are also what's your role?
District administrator.
District administrator.
Little League.
For the Little League locally and District 10. Is this weekend districts? Is that where we're at?
Yeah. So our regular seasons have completed for the most part, and now we are going into our All-Star season. We have a 8 to 10 tournament and a 10 to 12 tournament coming up. We have a full slate of games on Saturday, starting at 10 o'clock in New Hartford. They're going 10, 12, 15, 2:30, 4:45.
Okay.
In New Hartford, and then in North Utica, 2 games right at 11 o'clock for the 8 to 10-year-olds.
Okay, cool.
And we're going to have beautiful weather contradicting whatever is.
I think we're going to be okay.
I think we're going to be okay. And
it's going to be one of those where you're going to get a little rumbling of thunder here and there.
Yeah.
It'll feel more like the end of July, August than it's going to be.
It's exciting.
June.
They're double elimination tournaments, and the 10 to 12 tournament. That's what you see in Williamsport. This is the start of it. And from here you go to sectionals, to states, to regions, to Williamsport, and everybody has a chance.
Yeah.
And this is youth baseball. This is the tournament.
I have to say that from Little League to high school and American Legion, if you follow your kid playing baseball and it comes to an end, there's an empty place. It's really, you become sad when you don't have baseball to go to anymore.
It's interesting. I've been doing this for a long time and was a league president prior to becoming a district administrator.
Yeah.
And right now we're going through like a lot of graduation parties and a lot of the Proctor kids that are graduating, and they all have extreme fond memories of their Little League time. And, when you really talk to people and you go back, and that kid that plays Legions and goes through, and Roman Kimball you're going to have on in a little while, when they talk about their fond baseball memories, they're going back to Little League. And that's a big deal.
When did you play Little League?
2001 was my last year.
Was your last
and
year?
And I lost
wow.
the district championship to West Utica, and I still...
You have not forgotten that.
Yeah, I'm still disappointed. And that's the thing. Like, this is a tournament. Like, district banners matter. Bringing a championship back to your community, they matter. And Little League can hit on that better than anyone else. Darien Lake, nobody cares who won on a Darien Lake weekend tournament. Like, it's cool if you do it, but... Yeah, this is something that lasts forever.
Yeah. You are so right. Okay, so this was within the last 6 months, 6 to 8 months. It was a few, maybe it was around Thanksgiving time, so maybe it was a little bit longer than that. But I happened to be in a local establishment. I'm sitting there eating a sandwich. Must have been watching a football game on the screen, and I look over, and there's a kid I haven't seen. We were kind of buddies. I knew him through other people, but I hadn't seen him in a long, long time. And we get to start talking. And just randomly out of nowhere, I used to be a catcher, and he goes, you remember when we were kids, we used to play Little League, East Utica, Mount Carmel baseball? I said, yeah. He goes, I was so scared to steal off you, man. I wouldn't even run to second. Wow. It's just a Little League memory, just a random thing about, what life was, what was important in life at that age. And it's a lot of fun. I hope my son, on a personal note, falls in love with it the way many kids do. At this point, he's more interested in diagnosing, is that a weed, is that a plant, and is it dying?
Well,
Can I pick it out of the ground?
Then he needs to be in right field. That'd be perfect.
Yes.
I have to say, I had two boys, a daughter that wasn't interested. I thought she was. We got into the whole softball thing, and that went south. When she realized she was a girl, that was very disappointing for me. But for my boys, I had one that was very interested and played, one that played and wasn't very interested. So you never know how it's going to work out, but you support.
But it's a good
either
start,
way.
and
it is.
It hits on all the other things, and All Stars is your ultimate competitive part of it. But Little League really just hits on all those community things, those team building things.
Well, there's values on top of it.
Absolutely.
Think about for the kid who doesn't really want to play. The fact that he committed, didn't quit, stuck with it, all that is a life lesson.
Absolutely.
And for every time you strike out, and every time you score a run, or whatever it is,
if nothing else, we teach kids how to fail.
Yeah.
And baseball is a game of failure.
Yes.
And teaching
it is life.
Kids how to get
life. Baseball is the life
step.
game. Oh, I can't say it enough. Baseball is the greatest game, because it's the game of life game.
Yeah, and as my one son says, you also learn that things don't go quickly. Sometimes things are really long. All depends.
I do have to say, I've been umping this year, and I've talked about this many times. And we always talk about, the parent said this, or the coach said this, or the grandfather was upset about that, and that stuff does happen. But again, that's the exception. 98% of the time, they don't like it. If somebody doesn't like a call, or a call doesn't go their way, I'll say, or you strike out. These kids hustle back to the dugout, keep their chin up. They go out there and they try to get a hit the next time. And again, that's why I say that's what life is about.
A lot of good moments. And I will say, I texted you yesterday. The B+ I thought was harsh.
Yeah, I'm getting reviews from parents that are pretty good.
I like Sal. Sal's a good guy, but I thought the B+ was.
Well, he can't give him an A. It would go to his head.
He's correct.
Yeah,
Bill knows me. He's correct. I think B+. It gives me room to grow.
That's right.
It's a nice pat on the back. And I thank you, though. I appreciate that very much.
Even Davey's been at some games and gave some decent reviews, right?
Yeah, Jeff did a couple of my nephew's games, and I saw him in action. I gave him an A.
An A.
But I'm far from perfect. I'm far from perfect.
Well, better than the F
Not
I
even
was
close.
looking for earlier, Davey. Right? Okay, Mike. That's this weekend. So you're going to
weekend and into the next 2 weeks, and maybe we'll give updates on our Facebook on our Facebook page. We have our brackets, and I just want to thank you guys. We had the perfect game in Utica that you guys reported on. You guys have been really good about reporting on youth sports at a time where a lot of people it's fallen by the wayside. So I do appreciate that you've shared some good stories and
listen.
Coverage.
We want the best thing in the world is to have kids out and doing things outdoors as opposed to always being stuck playing Madden. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Madden's great, and football or whatever, you play your baseball.
I would much rather every kid get involved in Little League and baseball than politics.
Yeah, that's very...
Yes.
Oh,
amen.
But vote. They should vote.
But especially Utica politics, I have to say.
And then I do have a final thought, and it's about when you said your last year Little League was 2001. How many teams? Did you play in a certain part of the city?
So I was North Utica, so it's interesting. So North Utica had about 6 teams. All the leagues had about 6 teams at that point. North Utica was the runners-up to West Utica. South Utica came in 3rd in the districts at that level, and then East Utica wasn't too far behind. And that was... that combination of those 4 leagues were the state championship team for Proctor in 07. So it is interesting how you see all that. But on that, because I know where you're going.
Yep.
Youth baseball, Little League baseball is still the most played sport in the area.
Yeah. Oh, is it? That's good. That's good.
It is. You have people that say other things. It has had the biggest decline.
Yeah.
But it is still top dog.
Yeah. All right.
The only reason I say that, Mount Carmel, East Utica, as a child, we had 8 teams in the league, and then West Utica had theirs, South and North. There's now 4 teams in the city. 4 in the whole city. But I'm some of those games. It's good quality baseball. Those kids are very good, and I'm looking forward to watching these all-star, the 8 to 10 and the 10 to 12 tournaments.
You're going to see some great baseball, and it's at its purest level, so it's really good.
All right.
And I tell you, ask Roman Kimball. He might have thrown a couple temper tantrums in his day.
Okay.
Bad umpire. He'll say bad umpire.
Where you learn, that's where you learn not to do that. There's no doubt.
Game of life.
What would be great is if we get a team that goes deep. That would be.
I love it. I would love it. Absolutely.
Right. Okay, Mike. Thank you. Good luck, and
thanks,
good luck.
Man.
Good luck on Tuesday as well.
Absolutely.
All right.
Appreciate
it. Got a break. Coming up next hour, we'll talk to the county executive. Housing has been a big issue. It's a huge issue. How do we bring people into work here if we don't have places for them to live? Right.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, and we'll talk about that. Also, Dr. Nicole Sapphire is on later on in the hour, and how bad was that smoke that we were dealing with from the Canadian fires, and what chances are there that we're going to be dealing with it all over again this summer? We'll get to that coming up at WIBX.
Sometimes it can be hard to find a fulfilling job that you love, but that's not the case with the Whitesboro Central School District. We're hiring bus drivers now for next season. Whitesboro Central School District is a leading school system in central New York, serving 7 schools, 3,100 students, and holding a 92% graduation rate. You can help drive the success for our children. Drive for a local employer that takes pride in the success of our employees and our students. Come drive for the best with great benefits, flexible schedules with summers off. It's a great part-time or full-time job, perfect for anyone with a tight schedule or retirees with extra time. If you'd like to work where you can make an impact in the lives of our children and you have a commercial license, Class B, we want you to drive for us. Join our successful team and help drive our future leaders with Whitesboro Central School Transportation. Call Andy today at 315-768-9740 or stop by the garage, 20 Wood Road, Whitesboro. Andy's waiting for you.
What time is it? In the Adirondacks, it's summertime. Old Forge just saw the return of Paddle Fest. Macaulay Mountain hosted the State Scholastic Mountain Bike Championships, and Water Safari is open. Relax and refresh on Main Street, USA, with your favorite stops and some new eateries in Old Forge and Eagle Bay. Come enjoy your Adirondack backyard.
I'm Celeste Friend. I'm running for mayor of Utica. Utica is a young city with a rich history. We need to keep it young by investing in our neighborhoods, our local businesses, our arts and entertainment. Let's celebrate the past, but build a city for the future. Please vote for me in this month's Democratic primary. Early voting starts June 17th. Election Day is June 27th.
Paid for by the Committee to Elect Celeste Friend.
WIBX 950 Utica, Rome. W295DI Utica, Rome.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Hours after underwater robots found the missing sub in pieces near the Titanic shipwreck, the crew was going down to tour. Fox's Marianne Rafferty reports the U.S. knew Sunday it likely blew up.
The U.S. Navy detected an anomaly consistent with an implosion or explosion in the general vicinity of where the Titan submersible was operating when communications were lost. While not definitive, this information was immediately shared with the incident commander to assist with the ongoing search and rescue mission.
Well, now the Coast Guard says it's a salvage mission.
They did not give a timeline for how long that will take. 5 people on board the submersible were killed in what Coast Guard officials called a catastrophic implosion. That included the CEO of OceanGate, the company that owned the Titan.
Fox's Tanya Powers. House Republicans got the ball rolling on impeaching President Biden. Fox's Ryan Schmelz reports 2 committees are considering articles
alleging he's failed to secure the southern border and enforce the law.
Instead of enforcing our immigration laws, he has lawlessly ignored them.
The effort, spearheaded by Colorado's Lauren Boebert and conservative members of the party, was seen by Democrats like Jim McGovern as political.
Oh, my God, Mr. Speaker. Let's get real here. Nothing about this is serious.
This says House Republicans also released testimony from IRS whistleblowers, and Ways and Means Committee Chairman Jason Smith tells Fox it shows
the Department of Justice intervene in the prosecution of Hunter Biden.
3M is getting out its checkbook, agreeing to pay $10+ billion
for contaminating several U.S. public water systems. At issue are PFAs, forever chemicals found in firefighting foam, as well as consumer products like nonstick cookware. The deal would settle suits from about 300 communities impacted by the chemicals.
That's Jill Nato. America's listening to Fox News.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text LION to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text LION to 321321. That's LION to 321321.
All right, we have cloudy skies and now 66 degrees. WIBX news time is 8:03. Looking at some rain showers this afternoon. We could see a thunderstorm as well. A better idea on what to expect this afternoon will be coming up here in just a minute from Eyewitness News. A wild story out of Madison County involving a vehicle that was involved in 2 crashes. A Central New York man was issued only appearance tickets after a chaotic series of crashes and a police chase. New York State Police say they were dispatched for an initial crash at Tech Force Automotive on State Route 31 in the Madison County town of Sullivan Wednesday morning. Witnesses called 911 saying that the driver involved committed multiple acts of public lewdness along with multiple acts of criminal mischief to the vehicles in that business's parking lot. The man, later identified as Robert Norton of Liverpool, New York, ran back to his 2023 Toyota Camry and drove off when state police arrived. Deputies from Madison County would soon join in that pursuit. Authorities say Norton then drove into the westbound lane of traffic and struck another vehicle, and then lost control and struck a pole. You can find photos of the damage on our website at WIBX950.com. That 2023 Camry was totaled, I should say. Norton actively resisted after the accident, troopers say, and had to be tasered by police. He does face a felony count of criminal mischief in the third degree, along with a half a dozen misdemeanor charges. He was issued appearance tickets and released after those crashes. Again, more information on our website at WYBX950.com. A teenager who was arrested in connection with a murder in Syracuse will be tried as an adult. Prosecutors say 17-year-old Junari Harold was involved in the robbery and shooting of 27-year-old Tyus Ogletree at a home on Sunset Ave in January. Ogletree was inside the home with his girlfriend and her 3 kids. The children were not injured. Harold is now being held in the Hillbrook Juvenile Detention Center and again is expected to be charged as an adult. New Yorkers who like to fish can take part in a very popular activity at no cost this weekend. The second free fishing weekend of the year gets underway tomorrow and continues Sunday. You do not need a license to throw your line in the water and do some fishing this weekend anywhere in New York State. Governor Kathy Hochul says the free fishing days give people the chance to enjoy the natural beauty that is found in the Empire State. The other free fishing days planned for this year are September 23rd and November 11th. NBA draft last night. Former Siena men's basketball star Jalen Pickett heading to the reigning NBA championships. He's now a member of the Denver Nuggets. He was taken 32nd overall in the draft. Pickett was a key player for the Saints for 3 seasons before he decided to transfer to Penn State. Meanwhile, Amsterdam native Andre Jackson Jr. was picked 36th last night and is now part of the Milwaukee Bucks. And if you feel lucky, the Mega Millions jackpot and Powerball jackpots continue to skyrocket. The top prize for Mega Millions now $320 million, and the Powerball tomorrow night $427 million. The cost of a ticket is $2. Both of those drawings are streamed online. What can we expect today and tomorrow as far as rain? Got a lot of baseball to get in. Here's what we can expect from Eyewitness News.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WYBX Weather Center. Today, isolated rain showers around early, turning muggier as humidity increases. Few afternoon showers and isolated thunderstorms, a high of 79. Tonight, mostly cloudy, scattered thunder showers in the evening, low 67. And tomorrow, once again, scattered downpours and storms likely, especially afternoon and evening. Muggy, warm, high 78. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WYBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Cloudy skies and 66 degrees at 8:07. All right, in sports, I mentioned a lot of baseball this weekend. A couple of things here. The College World Series, we are down to the 2 final teams. 5th seed LSU knocked off top seed Wake Forest last night. A 2-run walk-off in the bottom of the 11th inning. It was a 2-0 final. LSU is set to begin the World Series Saturday against 2nd seed Florida in a best-of-3 series at Charles Schwab Field in Omaha. Florida's last national title came in 2017. LSU's last national title was in 2009. Mets and Yankee action this weekend. The Mets are in Philadelphia to open up a series against the Phillies. Kodai Senga on the hill tonight for the Mets. The Yankees, meanwhile, they are at home. And some bad injury news. Not bad injury news, but Willie Calhoun is the latest Yankee to be on the injured list. He's got a quad issue. He's hitting .239 with 5 homers and 16 RBIs. The Yankees dropped their series finale against the Mariners yesterday, 10-2. Domingo Germán took the loss. Yankees now welcome the Texas Rangers to the Bronx for the start of a 3-game series tonight. Some international baseball. America's national pastime heads back across the pond. The St. Louis Cardinals play 2 games against the Chicago Cubs in the second-ever London series for Major League Baseball. That'll be tomorrow. In 2019, the Yankees swept a 2-game series against the Red Sox there. St. Louis and Chicago were originally scheduled to take the transatlantic trip in 2020, but of course, those games were canceled, like many other things, because of COVID-19. Bill, I mentioned the College World Series there. It is LSU and Florida, and our next guest actually, his team played against Florida and had a chance to make it to the World Series. Unfortunately, they came up short, but this is Roman Kimball from New Hartford, who now pitches with the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Hey, Roman, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good. We talked to Roman last year.
Yes, we did.
With Notre Dame. So you almost became hit the record books for something quite unique.
Yeah, it would have been very cool to go back to back with two different teams. I don't know when the last time that actually was, because with the new transfer portal rules and everything,
right?
You weren't allowed to play back to back years if you decided to transfer. So
yeah,
I'm not sure when the last time that actually was.
I don't know that that's
happened.
happened.
It definitely would have been cool. Yeah, it definitely would have been really cool for that to happen. But it came up short this year. But it is what it is. But it's good to see that Florida is in the final, so it looks better for us.
Right. At least you lost to a team in the championship. Did you see the walk-off last night, and what'd you make of it?
Yeah, so I watched the game last night, and obviously both Skeens and Louder are very, very talented. Skeens is going to go probably first or second overall, and Louder is also going to be a first-rounder. So to see that matchup in that big of a game is like once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to watch. So definitely really cool to see that setting play out in Omaha. And, we played LSU this year, and it was definitely interesting to see both LSU and Florida end up making it to the championship final, since we played both of them this season. But the game last night, it was just incredible to see the two teams go back and forth. Two talented, really, really talented teams, and both of them were at one point number one this year. So just crazy how one pitch and that kid came in just through one pitch, and Tommy White just hit that homer. So it was a really cool game, though. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the championship series between Florida and LSU.
Now it gets underway tomorrow. Do you have a team that you're rooting for, or you just want to see some good baseball?
Like I said earlier, it'd be better for us if Florida won, because they ended up beating us. But primarily, I'd just like to see some good baseball. But I think Florida has the edge because LSU had used Skeens last night to get to the championship final, so it's unlikely that Skeens will pitch again in this series. So I think Florida does have the edge there.
And you mentioned last night's game, a 0-0 game into the 11th inning. I talked about the 2-run walk-off shot. The final in that game was 2-0. So a 0-0 game. Obviously, he pitched a great game for the time that he was in there. Can we talk about you for a little bit? How much eligibility do you have left? Do you plan to pitch with South Carolina again next year? And is there baseball beyond college? Do you anticipate maybe getting an opportunity with the next level?
Yeah, so this year, I'll go back to last year. So last year we ended up finishing in Omaha, and then a couple days later our head coach ended up taking the job at Florida State. And I went to Cape Cod for the summer to play baseball up there in the CCBL. And then ended up hitting the transfer portal due to the coaching change. And then the other assistants also left to go to Florida State as well. So ended up going to the transfer portal. And I don't know if you all knew, but I went to high school down here in South Carolina for my senior year.
Yeah, I know you did a prep school, right? Yeah.
In Lexington, about 20 minutes away. And that was kind of what sparked my interest in coming back to South Carolina.
Okay.
As I came and watched some of the games when I was here my senior year, and thought the atmosphere was incredible, and the fan base is really cool. And obviously it's the SEC, so it's a step up in competition as well.
Yeah.
And my advisor has good connections with Coach Kingston and the former pitching coach now, Coach Parker. And, got in contact with those guys when I was in the Cape, and, ended up committing here, and threw really well in the fall, and then ended up having a season-ending injury, tore my UCL at the end of the fall, so couldn't play at all this year. But I plan on coming back next year and playing for South Carolina. So I'm very happy with where I am, and excited for the future of this team and this program in the upcoming years. And I think this year was definitely a good representation of what South Carolina baseball is historically built on. So I'm definitely excited to get to work. I'm staying down here for the summer to rehab and get stronger and there's a lot of guys here this summer too. I think we've got about 15 guys here for the summer to work out and get stronger and get ready for next year. So it's good to be around those guys for the summer and prepare for next season.
The UCL, is that Tommy John?
Yeah, it's Tommy John surgery.
Mm. Well, yeah, the increase in kids your age having that surgery today. It's I don't know what is it. Maybe it's the fact that more curveballs are being thrown. I don't know what it is. What causes that? Why is that the case?
Yeah, so the age for Tommy John has gone down significantly.
Yeah.
I think the average age nowadays, is 18.
Wow.
Think
for
about
kids
that.
to get it. And the reason that is just because kids nowadays, the younger ages, are just throwing so much harder than what they did back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, you see high schoolers now, like it's pretty common for high schoolers to be throwing like mid to upper 90s, and some are even throwing 100 miles an hour at 17, 18 years old. And your body isn't fully developed yet at that point.
Right.
So your arm is just getting extra stress, which is causing that ligament to kind of tear at earlier ages compared to what it was back in the day. Because back then, people weren't throwing like upper 90s and when they were 16, 17, 18 years old.
Right.
So that's just
you also
where we are nowadays with the game.
Yeah.
So
and with even in like New York, 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, we didn't have all the travel ball. We didn't have there's so much more opportunity to play today. Indoor facilities in the north where you can continue to throw. So that does play a role. I wanted to just one other question about baseball and how it really has changed and how it could mean a real opportunity for you. Number one, how teams use pitchers today. I mean, it used to be your starter would go out, he'd go 7, 8 innings, you bring in a closer.
Unless he was shot on the field, he was going at least 7.
Right. And today it's just unbelievable how many pitchers are used and where they're used. It's got to open up the door for someone like you. And with that said, is there an area where you're being directed to based on your performance?
Yeah, with the amount of pitchers that are used in today's game, it's crazy. I feel like the biggest example of that, of kind of really changing it, was the Rays' philosophy. They kind of just throw their starter out there for about 4 to 5 innings and work through the lineup twice. And, the manager for Tampa, Kevin Cash, believes that once a starter sees the lineup through 2 times, it's kind of when the average for the other opposing team starts to creep up.
Well, that's
it's
interesting.
That 3rd time through the order.
Yeah.
So that's when they kind of use their bullpen to kind of navigate through the rest of the game, and then they bring their closer in to finish the game. But that's kind of the philosophy for some teams, is thinking that 3rd time through the order is gonna kind of damage your chances of winning the game. But in college it's a little bit different because you've got certain specialists for guys. Like you may bring in a guy for like a couple lefties, you may bring in a righty for a couple righties. So it just depends on the situation, the team you're facing, and historically what they've done against like high velo fastballs, off-speed pitches. It's because in college there's only 50 games, so each game is much more important than like in a 162 game season. So the style of play is definitely different, and the style of managing, I'd say, is definitely different.
Well, and it's interesting. We're talking to Roman Kimball. He's from New Hartford and currently is with South Carolina. And last year played in the College World Series with Notre Dame. So my final question for you is, you've already gone through a surgery, and I would think that there's so much more attention being paid attention to a pitcher's health, arm health. Look at a great example is the guy who I think is the greatest pitcher in baseball right now, who can't pitch ever, Jacob deGrom. And the thought of losing, as a Mets fan, the thought of losing Jacob deGrom and saying like, well, you know what, he's going to get injured again, and sure enough. It does make you really think about taking care of yourself like probably never before. DeGrom is a great example of that.
Yeah, for sure. What's funny is I think Jacob deGrom is going to the same surgeon as me, because I went to the Texas Rangers surgeon for surgery.
Wow.
So I think that'll be pretty funny. He also did Justin Verlander and Tyler Glasnow as well. He's done a lot of pro guys. So I was definitely lucky enough to get in really good hands
that's
from that
huge.
standpoint.
Wow.
But but like kind of like what you were saying, like this surgery happening is kind of giving me a whole new perspective on like the way to like attack everything outside of just pitching and kind of like navigating through from a health standpoint.
Yeah.
Because the surgeon that you have gives you a rehab program, so you're kind of basing everything you do off that. And then once you work back into throwing, so I'm about a month and a half back into like working up to throw again.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started throwing 90 feet this past week. And so like the program that the doctor gives you will also be like a throwing program as well. So, I mean, pretty much to kind of navigate through it, it's just you're pretty much just following the rehab program.
Yeah.
But it's more so of like what you're going to do after that
Right.
rehab program is like complete, because you kind of pick and choose what you want to do after like you're fully healthy again, but you're picking and choosing what you want to do from that rehab protocol that you're given. So yeah, but it's definitely an interesting thing, like this is something that I've never experienced before.
Yeah.
So I've never really been seriously injured in baseball. Like I've tweaked a muscle or something like that, but I've never been like seriously injured to the point where I've had to have surgery. So it's definitely a unique experience for me, because this is something I've never experienced before. And luckily there's, I'd say over half of our pitching staff currently here in South Carolina has already had this surgery and playing through it right now. So
it's unbelievable. Right?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of experience though, which I'm very fortunate to have from those guys to kind of just help me. I can pick everybody's brain and see like what they were experiencing, what they're feeling, and like all stuff like that. So I'm definitely very lucky and fortunate that there are other guys on the team who have had the same experience.
All right. Well, listen, cool stuff. Roman Kimball, thank you. And we'll keep an eye on you. Good luck with rehab. And we really will be watching to see how you do next year.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thanks for giving us some time, man, and good luck.
Have a great day. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Roman Kimball. Thank you. Roman Kimball from New Hartford. It's those numbers on Tommy John surgery are staggering.
It is. It's amazing the number of pitchers that go through this process. But I guess at the same time, it was once thought to be a career-ending or career-devastating injury. Now they do a procedure. They say sit on the bench for so long, and then you'll be back to pitch when it heals.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this, get it out of the way now.
Right.
If you're Roman. So, all right, if you need a new driveway, consider a concrete driveway. They just look awesome, and they last. Stone walls, block walls, sidewalks. You need repairs, and it's concrete. It's Brank Construction, B-R-A-N-C-K, Brank Construction. Call them today and get an estimate. They'll get the job done right and right on time. 315-894-3481, serving all of the central New York area. Brank Construction, 315-894-3481.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractor, we are pleased to partner with Alfred State University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Alfred State is proud to strengthen our long history of working with unions to create non-traditional pathways for career advances in the skilled trades.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Hi, I'm Mike Delaney. When elected mayor, backed by 8 years of direct action with the people as council president and decades of professional experience, I will establish a new roadmap for our city based on the needs and concerns garnered from your doorsteps. Standing alongside you as a fellow citizen, I will lead as a trustee of our tax dollars with a keen attention to detail, committed to setting policies that will improve the delivery of all city services, holding our government accountable. Send the right candidate to the general this year. June 27th, vote Mike Galimi for mayor.
Paid for by Mike for mayor.
Are you in the market for a vehicle that's like new but don't want to break the bank? Look no further than GM certified pre-owned vehicles at Steve Ponte Chevrolet. With rates as low as 3.9% for 36 months on select models, you can find new roads without the high price tag. Check out the 2021 Chevy Trax LT all-wheel drive with only 13,000 miles, or the 2020 Chevy Equinox LS all-wheel drive with only 31,000 miles. With a 6-year, 100 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and an additional 1-year bumper-to-bumper limited warranty, you can drive with confidence knowing your vehicle is covered. Why wait? Visit us online anytime at StevePonteChevy.com to browse our complete inventory. Steve Ponte Chevrolet, Route 28 in Herkimer. See why it's always easy to do business at Steve Ponte Chevrolet, your family-owned and operated dealership.
Customer must qualify top tier through GM Financial. All taxes and fees due on delivery. Must take delivery by June 30th, 2023.
The Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida Counties is your community foundation. Together, we've invested $125 million in the community, thanks to people, families, and businesses that want to give back and build a brighter future. And you don't have to have big bucks to make a big difference. Join us as we invest in the future of our community. Learn more about your community foundation at foundationhoc.org.
I'm Celeste Friend. I'm running for mayor of Utica. As mayor, public safety will be my top priority. I will hire a full-time, independent, qualified public safety commissioner who will be in charge of making our city safe for all of us, including safe streets, safe housing, and effective emergency response. Please vote for me in this month's Democratic primary. Early voting starts June 17th. Election Day is June 27th.
Paid for by the Committee to Elect Celeste Friend.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at hnhmedicalny.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
And now, portions of today's program brought to you by Daylight Donuts and Steve Ponte Mazda. The move to Mazda sales event is back. Enjoy 2.9% APR financing up to 36 months on new 2023 Mazda CX-30s, CX-5s, and CX-50s. Enjoy 0% APR financing up to 36 months on new 2023 Mazda CX-9s. As Ricky Z says, come in and let's make a deal on a new Mazda. The move to Mazda sales event going on right now at Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Quickly, RV, good morning. What's going on, man?
Good morning. Your boy Jim Cystitis.
Yeah.
The runner.
Yeah, Bullymaker.
I wanted to bring up a little point about baseball. His father was a great pitcher, you know. A great
I did not know that.
He was being held by the Boston Braves or the Boston Red Sox. I can't tell you which club.
Yeah.
And he was inducted inducted into the service in World War II.
Okay.
And when he came back, of course, he was too old. And we played against him when I was in 1959. Graduated from school, and we had old home days in them days.
Yeah.
And my brother was on his team, the old timers, and of course we were the young guys, right?
Yeah.
And I faced him. Well, I'll tell you what. I faced some pretty good pitchers in our league in high school. That boy could still pitch, let me tell you.
Wow.
Old man Cystitis was, we called him Old Man Cystitis. He could throw a ball. He still looked like a pea, let me tell you, when it came in there.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. We'll have to.
And as a tribute to young Jim Cystitis, I don't know if he ever saw his father pitch or not. My God, his father was a great one. And I don't know if anybody's ever paid homage to his homage, I guess it's called now, to his dad, and his dad had a brother Frank. We called him Ponz, Ponz.
Yeah,
Ponzi, and he played first base, and they had a hell of a team for a bunch of old timers. My brother played third base, and we swapped gloves. I come in from left field and threw the glove to him, and he used my glove to play third base. And that was back in 1959.
Wow.
But Jim Cestitis was a hell of a pitcher. I'm telling you, a good one. Great one.
When we have him on, we'll bring that up. Great story, RV.
Bring it up because his dad died too young.
Okay.
Really, he did, and he was a good one. He was the last one to be held with. I can't tell you which Boston team it was.
Okay, all right.
Whether it was the Braves or the Red Sox.
Okay.
But he got inducted into the service, and he spent his years there. And when he came back, of course, he was too old.
He was just too old. All right, great story, RV. I'll bring it up.
Yeah,
I promise
thank you, man.
All right. Thank you, man.
I love this little Friday baseball show we did.
Right. A lot of baseball in here. RV, thank you. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the weekend in studio. And I'm going to be. I do want to bring in. We have a pretty good interview coming up, but you can be a part of it. County Executive Anthony Pacini. Good morning.
Good morning. Good.
So coming up, we're going to. I believe she's calling Nicole Sapphire, right? She'll be calling you, Davey. Now, Jimmy set this up, so you can let her know that you're Jimmy's guy, so she's on friendly territory here. But we want to talk about from a physician standpoint, and you'll see her all over Fox News, and Jimmy's on with her often. But how bad was this smoke? Have you gotten any? We're talking about the Canadian wildfires, and I realize it's been good the last few weeks, but we keep hearing that this could come back, and they're still having problems up there.
Yeah, they are, and we I think there have been different reports of people thinking that that's what led to some serious illness or even worse.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've heard that
in that regard. I've heard that. Can't verify any of it, or not being haven't heard from any physicians or anything to that. The concern is just what you said. Is it coming back around?
Yeah.
And we have a race in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Or it's
not far.
5 weeks, 6 weeks. And one of the things we were talking about this in the office the other day of whether or not, if it lingers and it something shifts, and especially with humidity and the way the weather is, will that could that impact the Boilermaker? Or could it be around at that time, or could it be throughout the summer? What are we dealing with? So there are concerns. I mean, there's no question that and unfortunately I think it's the weather that'll dictate it, not in terms of what what happens and how it travels.
By the way, the countdown, Boilermaker,
Sunday,
15 days.
I'm looking at that. It's not 3 or 4 weeks. I mean,
what did I say? I keep losing track.
I'm losing. I don't know.
I was thinking it was around the 14th.
I know this. This
that was fine.
You know what it is? It's this political. It's this political primary in June that's screwing everything up.
Yeah, I guess. So
that's
how
I
many days?
feel.
15 days.
15 days, 23 hours. So basically 16 days.
Okay.
2 weeks from Sunday.
2 weeks.
2 weeks from Sunday. Yep.
Yeah. So just around the corner. But could you imagine if we had the smoke and smog that we had at its worst, and if that were to happen on Boilermaker Sunday, that would be a real serious problem.
I mean, look, anybody. I think it affected everyone. I mean, I don't think anybody walked outside and said this is nothing's bothering me. And if you have allergies or anything else, it was really a terrible experience.
All right, listen, I've tried to do my best to make a perfect transition here and waiting on her to call, but she has not called yet, Davey. Okay. All right, so we're going to wait. So I'm going to get into something, and then we'll have to revert over back to this topic. It would have been smooth and clean, wouldn't it?
I can pivot.
I think you can.
I can pivot.
You're good at it. You're an old pro. County executive, we're talking about housing. We all want new jobs. We want think about what Syracuse is dealing with Micron. They're having the problem of where do we put all these people? we have to think about that.
We do, and then that's why in my State of the County I talked, that was another one of the initiatives we talked about, was really doing a better assessment of housing stock, but also housing, needs and desires, or however you want to phrase it. So, looking and putting out an RFP in which, we're looking for, a planning group, a development group, whatever, to really assess the housing stock, the housing needs, how it blends in, and where there are needs, and where there, and where there could be, more, diverse type of housing. There's no question that, we've seen growth in that. Obviously, Air City Lofts in Rome is really, taken, really, I was just out there for lunch the other day, and there were people showing, visiting, those apartments, and the buildings, as soon as they go up, they're filled. So, people are, using, that type of housing. There's other housing being built. There's townhouses that, were built, some years ago over in Clark Mills and other parts. But in Deerfield and the like. So
Clinton Road, those
what else,
those went up and filled immediately.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And and houses go up for sale, and they sell immediately.
Yeah.
You talk about that every day on this show, with that. So, but I do think we need to really do an evaluation of, what do we have and what do we need, in line with, whether it's Micron down the road, because there is going to be fall off from there, but also everything else that we're seeing.
I want to. So obviously, this is something that is the next. It really is the next big thing. If you're going to, if you're going to bring in workers, you're going to bring in people from out of town, which some of these jobs are going to require that. You got to have a place for them to live. So
you
it's
do, and you also have to, assess what the stock is like, and whether or not it can, and what it can handle, what neighborhoods need to be upgraded. I think it looks, also, another point of it is, it's a transportation issue too, because it's where do you want to be, and it's a recreation issue. Where do you want to be? Where, how do you get from point A to point B? It's so very easy here.
Right.
And we talk about that all the time. And, we always use the minute a mile here if you want to travel somewhere, but people still want to know, where they live and, what's next to it. I think that's, something that we've talked about, in terms of downtown, when you look at downtown and the lofts, but there's still a need for services there.
Yeah.
So you got to look at all of the pieces of it.
And by the way, getting around this area is so easy until we run into massive construction, which is where we are right now. Is this all a part of Biden's infrastructure bill, or is this just a coincidence that we have, like even over by Zeb's, they had Route 5 shut down yesterday.
Yeah,
I couldn't get
it was
through there.
bad. That intersection kept getting backed up for some work that they're doing on the tail end of Middle Settlement, I think.
And what that does is that means now people are going to come over Limberlost. They're going to go down. All of a sudden, you have backed up traffic all over the place.
Remember, and we hate to keep bringing it up, and sometimes it sounds, ad nausea that you refer to COVID, but for a year and a half or 2 years, there was really no road construction unless it was absolutely necessary, and because so many projects just got delayed, put on hold, whether it was financial, whether it was just the effects of the pandemic, whether it was supply chain.
Yeah.
I mean, look what happened with the Thruway Bridge over Judd Road. The steel. I mean, it stopped. The construction just stopped. In the fall, and it didn't pick up until early spring.
One of the things. This is a national story. It's about but it's more predominant in the Northeast because our infrastructure is older. Is our roads and bridges? Are we doing enough to reinvest? And as time goes on, these structures. Look at what happened on I-95. Now, I understand that was a fire that caused that, but look how that can disrupt traffic. How do we manage the obviously some of that is a lot of it would be state, but there are county bridges as well. How do we manage that?
Well, bridges are inspected, yearly, throughout, and then a lot of them are more state bridges because they're over state roads or over the thruway or over over the canal or what have you. So those are inspected on a regular basis. We've been, I think when you look at what has been done over the years, when you look at, especially over the canal in different parts of the county, the bridges are fairly new and have been fairly, restored and replaced, when necessary. So, but there's still, from time to time, the small ones that that then have to be rebuilt, and then that causes the big detours and the delays that it takes.
Donna is saying this morning that there was a water main break over near Westmoreland. That's what caused
Westmoreland. The other
piece,
there's a water main break over there, but also there, there's going to be there's a major connector that's taking place with water over in the Westmoreland area as well.
Yeah, okay. And not to be complaining about, but I don't know what's going on with that Middle Settlement Road over there. It is a disaster, and they keep leaving it like in the worst shape. When is that project going to be finished?
Which one?
That's so between Lowe's and where Zeb's was.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That little strip. There's been some work going on there for a while.
There in terms of restructuring.
Yeah.
Kind of
I know some people got lost in some divots over there. We just found them. Everything's good. Yeah, all is good. Okay, go ahead.
So can I ask you, this comes from Lance, and I just I laughed when I read it.
I can't wait for that.
Can we, this is like a punchline. Please ask Bill's buddy. I took a ride around Rome yesterday. I don't see a Nexus Center, a hospital parking garage, or a refurbished auditorium. What has the county done for Rome of any significance? And he must not be familiar with what used to be called Griffith's Business and Technology Park.
I mean, I think
the investments in there.
It was funny for so many years. Rome had held Griffiths in just great esteem. After it became, and they still do. I shouldn't say they don't, but there are times when we do things at Griffiths, which is in Rome, that everybody says, "Well, what are you doing in Rome?" Well, that's what we're doing in Rome. I mean, that's what we've done. Innovari, the airport structure, the UAS test site, the Sky Dome, the other projects up at Rome. I mean, we're invested in the hospital. We just put $3 million into Rome Hospital and the maternity. We're helping to build a new YMCA on Floyd Ave, which the county is a part of. So I mean,
I almost feel like Lance just threw you a softball.
We invested $30 million over the last several years in the MVCC campus to expand the capacity of that campus and what it's capable of doing in terms of culinary, in terms of avionics, in terms of all of its programs. I mean, we're one of the only. I think we're probably the only county in New York State that has one community colleges with two campuses. That are full campuses, that really are are full size. So we've partnered with the city on numerous activities and economic development. So we're invested in downtown Rome and our buildings, which have really look pristine and we between the two courthouses, the county office building, DMV. I mean, those are investments. I mean, you can't not look at them and say again. We have a county government that's invested in two cities. I mean, that's unheard of, literally, especially when two cities are this close. I mean, there are cities throughout the state that are in the same county but don't have the infrastructure and the services that we do. So
like
a lot of investment there.
I feel like he just teed it up for you. And I mean, Lance, you and your buddy Paseni over here. All right, anything further there?
No, that was a softball. I did want to ask about credit ratings as well, because I think the county's credit ratings were upgraded again.
Well, they were.
Or can you even go any higher?
You can. You probably could. It's kind of hard, but what the good news was, everything was affirmed at the rating. I mean, we got AA on one, A+ on, because the three major rating agencies, you got Fitch, you have Standard & Poor, and you have Moody's. They all use different rating systems, AA on one, AA- on another, A+ on the other. So it's or A1. They sustained stable outlook, strong financial systems, strong strong fiscal management. If you read the comments, they're not mine. They're or anybody else from the county. They're from the rating agencies in terms of, the county has maintained a strong financial base and strong fiscal management and stable management and all of the things that I think people look for in managing the finances of a county. And I always want them to go up. I think the problem was, though, when you are not a problem, but in looking at what we have done over the last few years, we've invested quite a bit. And when you borrow, obviously, when you're borrowing more, I mean that puts a strain on finances.
Sure.
The good news is with that borrowing that we did, and with the finances that we have on hand and the money in the bank, it didn't go down. Normally, in some of those cases, it goes down when you're spending more, borrowing more. Mm-hmm. Those tend to drop. We've got major project with the hospital garage. We are a partner in Nexus. I mean, those two are when you put those numbers together, that's over $100 million in borrowing that the county has a responsibility for. So when you look at that kind of investment, but also that the credit ratings have maintained, I've always said, for everything I've done over the years, the proudest thing, and there's a lot of different things that we can take credit for through my administration, that things that we've built, things that we've done. The biggest thing is finances, because without it, nothing else does get done.
Right.
And that's what I'm most proud of.
I want to break, and then I have a big question that I'm going to hit you with coming up. I can't wait for this one. Quick break, and we'll come right back here. It's 8:46. Talking with County Executive Anthony Vicente on Friday morning, going into a bit of a... This weekend's going to feel more like a middle of July type weekend, where it's going to be hot, muggy, and the chance of thunderstorms, but shouldn't be a complete washout. 8:46 at WIBX.
I'm Celeste Friend. I'm running for mayor of Utica because I believe in Utica. Our city is growing. People are coming here to invest in our future. People are coming home to where they grew up to raise their own families. Let's keep growing and create a future for all of us. Please vote for me in this June's Democratic primary. Early voting starts June 17th. Election Day is June 27th.
Paid for by the Committee to Elect Celeste Friend.
Are you a registered nurse with a passion for making a difference in the lives of others? Do you have a desire to work in a supportive and compassionate environment? If so, hospice and palliative care may be the perfect opportunity for you. We're currently seeking a registered nurse to join our team. As a hospice registered nurse, you'll have the opportunity to provide one-on-one nursing care and emotional support to patients and their families during a difficult time in their lives. You'll develop and implement care plans to meet the needs of your patients and to ensure that they receive the highest quality of care possible. At Hospice and Palliative Care, we believe that everyone deserves compassionate and dignified end-of-life care. If you share the same commitment to excellence and are looking for a fulfilling career working Monday through Friday in hospice care, we would love to hear from you. To learn more about this opportunity, please visit hospicecareinc.org. That's hospicecareinc.org. Or call us today. Thank you for considering hospice as your next career destination.
Buy direct from the manufacturer and make a splash with a new spa from Strong Spas, now open in Sangertown Square. Choose from over 100 ready-to-deliver spas in stock with new inventory weekly and prices slashed to move fast. Visit the largest spa showroom in New York State and ask about their many financing options. You have to see this showroom to believe it. Strong Spas. Experience the difference in person. Sangertown Square, New Hartford, or online at StrongSpas.com. Hurry, these spas won't last.
Utica has been my home for the past 63 years. 35 years of business in the private sector and a business owner for 20. Over 20 years of serving Utica as a professional firefighter. Past chairman of the Public Safety Committee, 3-term elected council at large, making Utica a better place to live. Experience matters.
Elect endorsed Democratic candidate Frank DeBrango on primary day, June 27th. Paid for by Friends of Frank DeBrango.
Hi, I'm Bill Morehouse. I'm the Chief Financial Officer of the City of Utica. The city is on an upward trajectory. We need to maintain that trajectory. We need a leader with honesty, integrity, and someone who can truly lead our city forward. That person is Frank DeBrango. He has the experience, he has the knowledge. I'll be voting for Frank DeBrango on June 27th primary day, and I hope you'll join me. It's very important for the Democratic Party that we make this happen. Frank DeBrango, the next mayor of the city of Utica.
Paid for by Friends of Frank DeBrango.
Hey, if you have severe back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, there is help. And we're talking about Dr. Hyder and the Omni Surgical Center. You don't have to live with that pain. We've been several times with my dad, who's been dealing with some back and shoulder and neck issues. And Dr. Hyder is strategic in trying to figure out how to make the pain go away. Pain that can be debilitating. And if you have that pain, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Make an appointment today. The website is killpain.com. Isn't that apropos? Killpain.com. The phone number to make an appointment, 315-765-8448. Located in the Business Park and on French Road. It is the Omni Surgery Center with Dr. Hyder, 315-765-8448.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, in County Executive Anthony Pacini in studio, and it looks like we're not getting the doctor, Davey. I don't know. You got to talk to Jimmy about this. This is not good.
I'll get right on it.
We'll get her on Monday. In here is County Executive Anthony Pacini. And, all right, so here's my big question, okay, that I know I'm not even going to get an answer to, but I'll ask. What is the turning stone in the United Nations announcing in July? It's going to be big. And I know you know. You have to know.
I don't know. I mean, they've announced everything, that I'm aware of right now. I don't, they did the Tesla announcement.
That was big. I think
that's
that
big.
was really unique.
They talked about the expansion that they're doing and planning, and that's some months away.
Yeah.
I have not heard. They're coming up on their 30th anniversary. So
yeah, I think that's where
it could
they're
be
holding
something.
Back. They didn't call up and be like,
that.
"Hey, Tony, here's what we're going to do."
No, they
Just
have not.
No,
They did not.
See, Joel dropped it on the air like 2 months ago and said there'll be an announcement coming up in June. That has happened. And he said there's going to be a really big one. And he even said, this was what he said on the air. Correct me if I'm wrong. He said, this is going to be bigger than everything we've done in the last 30 years.
Correct.
Remember he said that?
That's what he said, yeah.
I mean, that's a tease of all teases.
That is.
That's a pretty good tease.
If they ask Joel.
Yeah.
I'll call him.
Okay, any questions you have for the county executive? 315-736-0186. By the way, Carrie Underwood tickets go on sale to the general public today on Ticketmaster. That's a big show. They got a big lineup of shows coming up.
They do, and again, a lot of it's around their 30th anniversary, so it's hard to believe 30 years. I mean, so.
It really, it really is. So if you have a question to the county executive, 315-736-0186. I know Manasseh's got some there, but I want to start with this parking garage. That is moving. That's moving along pretty quickly.
It really is. I mean, we've been really blessed with a mild winter that allowed a lot of construction to just never stop. And right now they're working on the inside. They've been pouring a lot of concrete inside. I mean, obviously, if you go by, you could see you could really kind of see the layout. I mean, that is with the ramps going in. Yeah. And then soon the exterior facade will be put on, but. We're hopeful and going to keep our fingers crossed that maybe we catch a break and can be a little earlier than we were.
And then
it was planned, or it was
medical office building seems to be going up as well.
Medical office building is really going up fast. That one, I got to tell you,
they're adding air conditioning on top of it or something.
That's I mean, and that's a huge building.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is the issue there with the city? And I've heard that project is stalled over there, which could open the door to some. I realize that's between the hospital and I believe the property owner or whatever the deal is over there. I don't think that sale has gone through.
It hasn't, as far as we know. I mean, it's been announced a couple times, but we haven't seen anything.
And then I would imagine you're keeping an eye on the mayor's race in Utica, because while you seem to have a very good partnership in Rome with Mayor Izzo, it has been somewhat contentious between you and the current mayor. There are 4 candidates running. Are you confident that that relationship will improve after January?
Well, I'm hopeful. Obviously, no one wants to have, especially with the major city and the county seat and all that, and we've talked about that. And the differences I've had with with the mayor, and while we didn't have throughout his term, I would say it was just on some more recent issues that have come up. But I guess the one thing I'm looking for is I keep saying it, the acknowledgement of what the investment the county has made in the city, and then when you talk about the same that we've done in Rome with the mayor there, I think there's a different recognition in total, and even to the Rome Council, I look at that and say you got to take a look at at what we've done. I mean, we are a partner, and we can be even more of a partner if we can work together on this stuff. So I'm hopeful that I've heard I haven't heard too much from them. I know primaries are always about each other and more.
Have any candidates reached out?
I've talked quite frequently to Mike Galimi. He's the endorsed candidate, as I am on the Republican side. So we have talked considerably throughout this campaign.
I'm going to ask you.
No, the thing I was laughing at was a comment that a listener made, and it actually didn't have anything to do with Tony. But since you've thrown it to me, I'll share it. John from Rome making me laugh this morning. We talked about Aaron Rodgers this morning, and he wanted what? He was talking about psychedelics.
Yes, yeah.
And John from Rome's take was Rodgers is definitely on drugs. He's agreed to play for the New York Jets.
Yeah, that would be that would be true. All right, anything else you want to hit on here this morning that you feel are?
No, I mean, there's early voting taking place. I would encourage
today,
people
tomorrow,
to do that. Tomorrow, until
and Sunday.
Then the the primary. It was really a low turnout, I think. The other thing is we're still.
You're saying early voting has been low?
Been low, yeah. I know. I mean, early, the early returns on it. But again, in a primary, it's just that it's going to be that way, and that's always been our argument with the June primary in that regard. It's still hard, for that to be just a commonplace kind of thing. For years you were ingrained with that first Tuesday in September, or that became the primary day, and then all of a sudden it changed. So it's still kind of hard, but there's early voting.
It's the primary and it's the hard run and walk in June. It's just throwing people for a loop.
Yeah, everything is up is down, down is up.
We're all messed up. Yeah.
But no, we're just again, credit ratings important. We've got some other stuff. We'll be coming out with a survey on Nexus that we've talked about in the state of the county that we want to unveil in the next week or so, so that we can really get a sense of what else we can do down there. We need to do more. We've been working very closely with Rob, planning for the USA hockey event in April. We're starting. I mean, that's going to be big.
Enormous.
That's going to be a huge event.
Yeah.
We're working with Turning Stone on that as well. Another joint partnership with them and Mohawk Valley Gardens, the Audit Authority, the county, Utica University, everybody. I mean, so there's a lot going on. We've got more.
I love your response on this. We're almost out of time. Somebody saying the garage is going to block the view from the hospital from Route 12.
No, that's not true.
I really feel that
the garage. The garage. There's another. The level.
The garage 5 stories. The hospital's 10 or 12.
9.
But
nine, bigger.
I do have to say that the hospital was. This is something that in our tours we've learned. They were there. Everything has been about the view, not necessarily the view from Route 12 or from the city or the skyline. Mm-hmm. I think that is something that that is important to them. What's most important to them, based on our conversations, was the view from inside the rooms.
From inside the rooms, and
there's something about health and seeing greenery and sunshine.
But when it comes to the garage, the way it's positioned, and that was the desire of the hospital, for that purpose, and. The only thing is we had to add another layer because of issues with the city, and that's why there's another floor that wouldn't have been there in that regard, but it still doesn't block the view in any way. And
Right.
what you're seeing now is because of all the construction, the cranes,
Yeah.
the other pieces, so it looks like a kind of a mess in that regard, which it is because of the work that's being done. But once it is, completed and it'll blend in and it'll look great and it'll look, really great with the hospital.
I had somebody from Rome say the other day, in my entire life, I have never seen this sight, and that is a crane over Rome and cranes over Utica. This is something that we are not necessarily used to, but in the last 4 or 5 years,
we travel back in the archives of the county, and it wasn't until things like the county building was built, the state building, the Aud, all of those things.
County Executive Anthony Vicente, thank you. Enjoy the weekend. Hopefully no rain. I got to go. News straight ahead, then kill me. WIBX Utica Rome. It's 9 o'clock.
It's now a salvage operation. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 2.5 miles underwater where pieces of that submersible were found yesterday. Then we found out later.
A U.S. Navy official confirming with Fox News, quote, the U.S. Navy detected an anomaly consistent with an implosion or explosion in the general vicinity of where the Titan submersible was operating when communications were lost.
But since that evidence was not definitive, they kept searching.
The implosion presumably killing all 5 crew members instantly as it descended toward the Titanic shipwreck. Among the victims is Stockton Rush, the CEO of Ocean Gate, which owns the Titan sub.
That's Fox's Brian Yennis in Boston. It's been more than a week since a fishing boat overcrowded with migrants sank off the Greek coast. It's feared 600 died. Pakistan's interior minister just said about half of them might have been Pakistanis. House Republicans are considering impeaching President Biden, opening investigations into his border policies, and they're releasing testimony from 2 IRS whistleblowers in the Hunter Biden probe.
They don't treat all taxpayers the same. And we saw that with countless examples that they used how the Department of Justice intervened in the prosecution of Hunter Biden.
Ways and Means Committee Chairman Jason Smith, days after the president's son agreed to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax evasion charges. The president will gather today with pro-choice activists, marking 1 year since the Supreme Court ruling that gave states more rights to ban abortions. A judge in Wyoming's ruled that state's ban on abortion bills cannot take effect July 1st after a Wyoming abortion clinic and several women sued.
The judge ruling lawyers for the state failed to show that allowing the measure to take effect next month wouldn't harm the plaintiffs before their lawsuit can be resolved. The lawsuit also aims to block a separate near-total ban on abortion, arguing the 2 state laws create confusion about what is and isn't legal.
That's Fox's Kristen Goodwin. America's listening to Fox News.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text LION to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text LION to 321321. That's LION to 321321.
Utica has been my home for the past 63 years. 35 years of business in the private sector and a business owner for 20. Over 20 years of serving Utica as a professional firefighter. Past chairman of the Public Safety Committee, 3-term elected council at large, making Utica a better place to live. Experience matters.
Elect endorsed Democratic candidate Frank DeBrango on primary day, June 27th. Paid for by Friends of Frank DeBrango.
Hi, I'm Bill Morehouse. I'm the Chief Financial Officer of the City of Utica. The city is on an upward trajectory. We need to maintain that trajectory. We need a leader with honesty, integrity, and someone who can truly lead our city forward. That person is Frank DeBrango. He has the experience, he has the knowledge. I'll be voting for Frank DeBrango on June 27th primary day, and I hope you'll join me. It's very important for the Democratic Party that we make this happen. Frank DeBrango, the next mayor of the City of Utica.
Paid for by Friends of Frank DeBrango.
Are you in the market for a vehicle that's like new but don't want to break the bank? Look no further than GM certified pre-owned vehicles at Steve Ponte Chevrolet. With rates as low as 3.9% for 36 months on select models, you can find new roads without the high price tag. Check out the 2021 Chevy Trax LT all-wheel drive with only 13,000 miles, or the 2020 Chevy Equinox LS all-wheel drive with only 31,000 miles. With a 6-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and an additional 1-year bumper-to-bumper limited warranty, you can drive with confidence knowing your vehicle is covered. Why wait? Visit us online anytime at StevePonteChevy.com to browse our complete inventory. Steve Ponte Chevrolet, Route 28 in Herkimer. See why it's always easy to do business at Steve Ponte Chevrolet, your family-owned and operated dealership.
Customer must qualify top tier through GM Financial. All taxes and fees due on delivery. Must take delivery by June 30th, 2023.
Hi, Joe Carbone. Welcome to Power Sports of Utica. $1,500 rebates on jet skis. $2,000 off of Kawasaki KX models. We're moving out the 23 models for the 24s. And Bike Night, July 14th. Plenty of cold refreshments. Hi, I'm Joe Carbone. Welcome to Harley-Davidson of Utica. 50% off of all footwear. 40% off of all camp chairs, table sets. Buy one, get one, 75% off of hoodies. And Bike Night, July 14th. Plenty of cold refreshments.
Hi, I'm Mike Delaney. When elected mayor, backed by 8 years of direct action with the people as council president and decades of professional experience, I will establish a new roadmap for our city based on the needs and concerns garnered from your doorsteps. Standing alongside you as a fellow citizen, I will lead as a trustee of our tax dollars with a keen attention to detail, committed to setting policies that will improve the delivery of all city services, holding our government accountable. Send the right candidate to the general this year. June 27th, vote Mike Galimi for mayor.
Paid for by Mike for Mayor.